What is going on, YouTube? This is Micro Mike, and I want to say thanks for taking the time to come tonight. Usually, this is Subscriber Friday, but we got a little bit of news we got to drop before we get into the fun. But before I get into that, what up, Doe Boog Spray? What up, Doe J Third? What up, Doe Go Lions? And of course, Mr. Detroit Drew himself. Sorry, there. I had double stuff going on right there. LukeG will be dropping in when he is available so we can talk about the Detroit Sports Alliance and how this thing is going to go forward. I also may have a special guest come on here in a little bit as we're communicating time now. And it would be really great to have an individual from the DVE join my channel and talk about some Detroit Lions stuff. So before I get into asking you guys what you guys want to talk about the Detroit Lions, we are going to talk about what occurred today. Now, one of the founding fathers of the DSA, the Gridiron Blitz, Mr. Derek P. Fields, he has left the Detroit Sports Alliance. And I want to say, first off, so no one gets freaking out, it's nothing wrong with his family or anything like that. The concerns when it comes to family issues, it's okay. Everything's good with his family. He's just got a lot of stuff going on. And when it comes to his, his personal life, everything's fine there. I want to say a huge thank you to Mr. Gridiron Blitz, Derek P. Fields. I would not be in the position that I am in right now without Mr. Derek P. Fields. Initially, when I found LukeG, I found it via Derek P. Fields when I was watching his videos when he was talking about the Chicago Bears and drinking a beer while doing a talk about how the Lions lost. And I was so intrigued about his content that I absolutely loved it and fell in love with this idea of doing great work. What up, Doe Hitman's House? What up, Doe D-Town? Of course, what up, Doe CA's Sports Talk, Yu-Gi-Oh! And, of course, Mr. Go Lions himself. So, again, he is a great individual personally when it comes to YouTube as well as off the field that you guys don't hear about. He is a very good family man. What up, Doe? He's a very good family man, just a very good human being all around. He would always help us out when it comes to the Detroit Sports Alliance. All of us, whether it be Detroit Drew, CA3, Troxel Sports, LukeG, behind the scenes, he was helping us out. And it was an honor and a privilege to have the ability to talk to him about Detroit Lions football and spend the time that we did together. What up, Doe Noble Sports? And absolutely was happy that he decided to do this Detroit Sports Alliance thing, this idea of getting YouTubers together and talking sports in a positive manner, the new way that we are taking this media, because without him, folks, this wouldn't have happened. He literally is one of the beginners. He's the founder. He found LukeG. He found Troxel Sports. LukeG found me. He found Detroit Drew. Man. And so he's just a special person. I'm the other DVE OG. I would love to be on your guest. Absolutely, Hitman's House, for sure. Right now, I'm communicating with Man Beast Morris, and hopefully he can come on here in a couple minutes and get him on here. I love DVE as well. Of course, Hitman's House, for sure. Now, how I do it here, I don't care where you're from or what part of company you come from when it comes to Detroit sports. I love it all, man. I love DVE. I love everything Detroit sports, and so anyone is always welcome on my channel and talk football, because that's what it's all about. We are about bringing real content and taking down people like Carlos Manure and taking down the Freep and, of course, M Live and ESPNs and all that stuff. What up, though, Alien Source TV? Thank you so much for the great comment right there. What up, though, Map Zoom? I love that Ancient Aliens, man. I'm going to say it every time. That stuff intrigues me. So, again, LukeG will be coming on here soon. I'm also constantly checking to make sure that Man Beast Morris, if he wants to jump on here and talk, we're going to do that and have that stuff going for you. So talk about Derek P. Fields again. He is a awesome guy, folks. And it's not like he's leaving YouTube or leaving Detroit sports talk at all. He's still going to do content. He's still going to do innovative work that he currently does. We absolutely are happy for him that he wants to try something else and move in a different direction for his family and himself. I mean, it takes a lot of time when you're doing these shows and you're creating videos, and it's something that it takes away a part of your life. It's nearly like a second job. What up, though, Dre Barnes? And so I totally get it, and I absolutely support his decision, and I support him on his channel now, and I will always support him, man. Derek's a great guy and just a good individual to be around. And so I'm very proud to have known him, and I'll continue to talk to him and watch his videos and content just like we normally do. Now, when it comes to the Detroit Sports Alliance, folks, you do not have to worry. The roundtable will continue. We are scrambling to make the process work. If need be, it will be on my channel, and or when Luke gets back, it will be on his channel, and we will continue to make sure that this content is going because we want to make sure the roundtable continues. It is vital to continue talking Detroit sports because it is a movement. It is bigger than everyone else. I know, man. Hashtag bring back DPF for sure, man. We love the guy here. It was his decision to move on, and man, you can't argue with an individual that's putting family first and putting his kids and his family before this, because that it's always family first no matter what. And it's a big time commitment, as we all know. If you do these live shows and you create content, it really takes away a lot of time, and it's a second job. So I fully support Derek in that sense for sure. But, folks, you do not have to worry. The Detroit Sports Alliance is going to continue. We are going to continue to expand. We're going to do everything we can to give you the best content, the most quality content, the standard bearer when it comes to Detroit sports, because that is a priority for us. And it's absolutely vital we continue that. And so do not worry. You will get your roundtable. You'll continually get the same type of information you were getting. And so if there's any question when it comes to the roundtable in Detroit Sports Alliance, go ahead and ask me now, as well as any Detroit sports question. Let's go ahead and do it. Again, LukeG will be coming on in a little bit, as well as possibly Man Beast Morris. Life happens, and we all can't be on at the same time. So that said, folks, drop me some comments. It is your day. It is Subscriber Friday. This is the day for you guys because you guys run the show. The roundtable seemed to have too many cooks in the kitchen the last time I listened. That is true. And that was something that they were debating on, if they're going to go back to 4 or have a 5. And so, as you noticed, I would be on maybe an hour on a Thursday, and that would be it. And simply because we did not want to drain the content down and water it down. We wanted to make sure that you got the perspective from 4 individuals, because if you have too many individuals talking at the same time, it can kind of ruin the content. And so going forward, we totally understand that. We talk about this stuff all the time. LukeG understands this, and it is vital that we continue a good amount of individuals on at one time. Now, will that be 4? Or will that be 5? Or will that be 3? In my eyes, it's looking like it's going to be 4 right now, but don't hold me to it. Things could change. But we try to innovate and do the best we can to give you guys as possible information. Do you think the Lions should win their preseason games? When it comes to winning, I could care less when it comes to preseason. I want to see how the rookies are doing. I want to see how the scheme, the offensive scheme does. We're going to see a bland offense, of course, in the preseason because they're not going to want to show anything. But I would like to see how CJ Anderson runs behind the offensive line. I want to see how the offensive line gels. I want to see Tavai, how well he does in the linebacker position, how well Teez Tabor is coming along as a cornerback for this team as he's made strides. This is what I want to see. The young guns. I want to see the new free agents that we got. I want to see how they play. Wins, I could really care less. Again, it's all about how the starters play, all about how the individuals that are new to the team play, and how the players cohesive together. Again, you notice in, 2007, 2008, we went 4-0 in the preseason. We went 0-16. So again, wins does not really matter, but cohesive does. How your starting offense does. So that is what I want to see. I simply want to see how this offense gels because it's a new offense. And I'm curious to see how different it is from last year from KFC. I believe it's going to be far, far better, and which is a good thing. But again, just see that cohesive going. Now, Hitman says, who do you got making the team out of the current Lions wide receiver and cornerback crop? Well, I do. Obviously, I have Marvin Jones making the team, as well as Danny Amendola and Galladay for sure. I have Fulgham making the team, and I do have Curse making the team. And the reason I pick Curse is because of the veteran status, and he understands the offense. Now, this is the big debate. Are we going to go 5 or 6 wide receivers? I think we are going to go 5 wide receivers because our talent at the tight end position is phenomenal, and you can't keep 6 wide receivers and have 4 tight ends. It doesn't work out that way. I believe that the tight ends will be utilized like wide receiver weapons, and we still have the ability to put some of those young wide receivers on the practice squad. Now, I think if they try to put Fulgham in the practice squad, I believe a team would pick him up, and that would screw us over in the long run. I think if they like one of the younger wide receivers, and I think it's 3 years to be on the practice squad, that they can put him there and utilize him if need be, if an injury occurs, because we have so much talent that if we can hide one of those talented pieces on the practice squad and not have to have them on the 53, that would be fantastic. But that's not going to happen with these tight ends. Obviously, we're going to have TJ Hockenson. He's definitely playing for sure. Jesse James as well as Nada. And Nada, they were doing a lot of 3 tight end sets in OTAs. So that suggests to me that, and it was not just running the football, that suggests to me that they're going to do a lot of passing as well. And so if you're going to do 3 tight end sets, you need to have another 4th tight end as well. And that's where we have the 4 tight ends. So the depth there, that's what I'm predicting. Could it change? Obviously, it sure could change. But in my sense, I feel like they really want to go tight end heavy because Darrell Bevell's offense uses a lot of tight ends, tight end sweep, play action, and a lot of creative plays with those big boys. And so I'm really excited about that. When it comes to our cornerback crop, now that is an interesting battle because I really, really love the secondary that they developed. Obviously, the players that we got in this draft, when it comes to the safety and the cornerback Amani, they're definitely making the team. I think it goes down to, are you going to have Mike Ford in there or Teez Tabor and possibly an unknown individual? And I think it's going to come down to those two. I think what sucks is I do like Mike Ford. However, our talent in the cornerback position is so high, it's hard to keep everybody. And I think they will not eventually keep Mike Ford, but hopefully they can stash him on the practice squad because last year he was a rookie free agent. You have 3 years again on the practice squad. And will he stay there or will another team try to pick him up? That will be the question in my eyes. I think he is an individual I truly do like. I mean, for a undrafted free agent cornerback to come off the street,
play for the Lions and beat out Tease Tabor last year was, to me, very impressive. And that just goes to the testament of his ability to learn quick. But now our cornerbacks are so deep and so strong that our talent is much higher than what it was last year. So if we can get Ford on the practice squad and keep Tabor, keep Amani, Coleman, obviously, Darius Slay, I do see him being in camp, folks. I don't think he's actually going to miss out. I think that would be a giant mistake. And even if God for known some reason that he decided, no, I'm going to hold out in camp, the Lions would make a play to get another cornerback in there and have a veteran as well. I love the depth all around per Boog Spray. So do I, man. The depth is the deepest it's been on the Detroit Lions in years. Absolutely phenomenal. Bob Quinn has done a great job. Now, the only position group that I feel the depth is not great at is the offensive line, and that's concerning to me. However, every team has a weakness group, every single team in the NFL. So if you're saying we got one depth weakness group and that's it, that's pretty darn good if you ask me. I'm absolutely proud of what Bob Quinn has done, and I guarantee you he will solve that offensive line issue come before week 1, because there is absolutely no way that he's going to leave that lackluster to the way it is right now. I feel if Joe Dahl doesn't perform like we hope he does, or Terrell Crosby does not perform like we hope he is, he'll make a play to get an individual, whether it be from other teams' cuts or making it via trade. So he has done a phenomenal, phenomenal job. JBC says, anyone on the practice squad is free game for another team, right? Correct, 100%. They have the ability. So what will happen is if you have a individual on a practice squad, whether it be for us or another team can decide to want to sign him. However, the team that has the individual in the practice squad then could turn around and sign that player just to make sure the other team doesn't get him. So that actually happened to us a couple of times where another team tried to poach some of our talent on the practice squad, and we turned around and just signed him to the 53. So 53-man roster is not the end-all, be-all. That practice squad is very vital as well. So that's for good general managers will stash talent on there they believe is actually fit to play on the 53-man roster, hoping that another team doesn't poach him. If they try to, if they really believe it, then they'll go ahead and place him on the 53 and get rid of someone else that potentially would be worse than that individual. Let's see. I like Fulgham being part of the main wide receiver list as well. My favorite draft pick. Yeah, man. And you know what? You go with 313 JMO. That's one of his favorite draft picks as well. I contest to his belief that Fulgham will eventually be Marvin Jones' replacement if he can live up to the potential, because he is built somewhat like him, a little thicker because he's 6'2", a little thicker, has a little more weight on him. But again, when you look at when we took Galladay a couple years ago in the 3rd round, a lot of people were scratching their heads, and he ended up being a really great player. When Bob Quinn decided to take Fulgham, that was his idea of potentially replacing Marvin Jones in a year or two, because that's what Bob Quinn does. He drafts players for the future, not just for the now, but for the next couple of years, and that's how you win in the cap space game, because if you win in the cap space game, that's how you get depth. That's how you're able to sign your players that you want on your team for years and not be in cap hell like we've had when we had Matthew Stafford, as well as Ndamukong Suh and Megatron. So I just got a notice from LukeG. He's on his way. So he'll be on in a moment, hopefully soon. And he'll address also when it comes to Detroit Sports Alliance, how it's going forward. And again, you have no worries, folks. The show must go on. And we at the DSA will do everything we can to throw you the best show in town. And that's what we do, folks. That is what we do. I think Amani will beat Tease out, real talk, or Tease moving to safety. Man, you know, that's going to be very interesting, Hitman. Very, very interesting to see. And that's one of the camp battles that I'm going to be looking for this year. Is Amani, in my opinion, was a 2nd-round pick. We got him in the 5th round. Now, if you can get a corner thinking he was going to get taken in the 2nd round, if he had that ability to be taken that early, then obviously he has a ton of talent. We knew that before the draft. We all liked Amani. That was one of these players that when you talk to the DSA, we talked about, man, if we could get Amani in the second round or third round, that would have been great. And we end up getting him in the fifth round. If Tease Tabor does not live up to his potential, he's definitely going to get passed up by Amani, because I think Amani's ceiling is so high. His ability to find the football and beat the wide receiver and jump at the point of attack and get his hands on the ball and take it down is really well. And I'm so shocked how he fell in the fifth round, but I am so glad we picked him up. He definitely could be an individual that will see a lot of playing time when the year progresses. When it comes to cornerbacks, what's really good about what we have with our secondary is there's a couple of positions that it takes time for rookies to learn. One of them is cornerbacks. We are so deep at the cornerback position that we don't need to thrust him into a starting job. He can learn his kinks while veterans, and we still have quality players out there, but while he learns, we can start throwing him in there on the defense, a play here and there, or a play he understands and a defense he understands, and put him in the best position to win. And I love that. I love that idea, and it's really exciting to see, and that's how our defense will succeed and continue to grow. When it comes to Tease Tabor, I'm really happy that he's making this adjustment where he threw his ego at the door. He said, no, I know I've been making a lot of mistakes, and I am going to do the best I can to make this roster. Okay, Man Beast, go ahead on Twitter and send me your email, and I will go ahead and throw you on here, and we will get this thing popping. LukeG will be on in a little bit, and that will be great to talk about the future of the Detroit Sports Alliance. And I'm really excited to get Mr. Man Beast Morris on here to talk Detroit Lions from DVE. Man Beast Morris has been in the game for a long time, and it's been an honor of mine to watch his videos throughout the year. And I am really excited to have him on as well to talk Detroit sports. And so it'll be super exciting. He has a great perspective. And ever since he dropped that video about the issues he was dealing with personally, my respect factor went for him through the roof, because I deal with that type of stuff as well. What up, though, Nomis? What up, though, George Morgan? And dealing with depression is something that's very difficult, and it's a daily task. And a true individual like himself would come out and say that, because that is the beginning of healing. And he will heal and be stronger than ever and will destroy that Lions content. So let's see. Tease is meant to be in a zone defense. You could say that. You could say that. But when it comes to Tease Tabor, he is meant to be in a position to make big plays. In college, he was all about getting the interception, always taking the ball away, all about doing everything he can to make a big splash play. Now, that's what he was known in college. And when he came to Detroit, he had such a difficult time transitioning, because when it comes to the NFL, it's a different speed, it's a different style of defense that he had than when he was in college. And so it was a difficult transition for him. So he had a little bit of ego, like he was suggesting throughout his talk to the media, and he decided to put that at the door, put the ego at the door, and do whatever it takes to try to make this bad boy work. So, Man Beast, go ahead and send me your email via Twitter DM, and then I can go ahead and send you the request to join me, and we can talk to DSA and DVE members at the same time and get this thing popping, man. Nomis, I am glad you were in the building. Again, LukeG will be here in a moment, and we will get this thing popping, man. Let's see. Hitman, sup, Gnome? I see your numbers going up. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. I was talking to Mr. Nomis, the great Nomis. First off, folks, if you don't know Nomis, his pickup lines are fantastic, okay? This man is almost to 300 subscribers. We need to get him to 300 subs. So anyone and everyone, please, if you have not subscribed to Mr. Nomis, this guy is hilarious when he comes with his jokes, and his content is fantastic. He is a valued member at DSA, and we got to get this man at 300. We must do it. That is my goal for tonight. Let's get him to 300, because when he gets to 300, then he can go up to women and he can say, "Hey, I am a YouTube superstar. Come hang out with me," and it will work, because that's the type of pickup lines that gets the chicks. Got to have 300 subs to do that, and he's so close. So we will definitely get that thing popped. With that said, folks, throw some questions at me. Anything Detroit Lions, we will get this thing going, and we will get this thing popping and cracking, just like TA would say, and talk about this. Hey, George, you have no idea. This dude, we communicate, and he has the greatest lines of all time, and we got to get this guy at 300, because this guy he kills me. He kills me 3, 4, 5. He kills me. He has all of us rolling, man. Nomis is one of the greatest pickup lines of all time. When he drops them lines, man, he makes us all crack up. We need to get that guy to 300 so he can continue his cracks. All right, folks, what do you guys want to talk about when it comes to Detroit? Throw the questions at me so I can start answering those bad boys. I think we have a potential to be the next best linebacking core since the 49ers linebacking squad back in the day. We have a lot of potential to be a fantastic linebacking core. If Tavai can live up to what we think he can and get his ceiling up there, sky's the limit, because he can play in the middle if need be. And that would, if he has the ability to play in the middle and take that thing to the next level, then Davis does not have to play in the middle, and we can put him in a great position to win and make plays. And you got to think, folks, how does the linebacking core strive? How does it thrive? You have to have a great defensive line. As soon as we got Snacks Harrison last year in the trade, our linebacking core made a lot of plays, and their game went up, and Davis's game has went up. And so that's what is important when it comes to this. And he can do that. He can take it to the next level, Tavai can, and really help this linebacking core go to the next level with this defensive line intact. And Tavai taking that step, being 6'2", big redwood tree in the middle, stopping those tight ends that torched us for years. Our linebacking core can be really, really good. And that is something that would really help this defense go from really good to really great. Because I think that was the question mark when it comes to defense, was the linebacking core. We know what we got with that defensive line. That's a straight hot defensive line. In my opinion, we know what we got with that secondary. To me, sky's the limit with the safeties, with Diggs and Walker. And you know how I love the cornerbacks that are currently on this roster. So the question mark was always the linebackers. Now, if they could take that next step, good Lord, teams are going to be frightened, because we are going to smoke fools night and day. That would be something to behold. And if they can take that next step, folks, there is no team that we can beat any team in the NFL if that happens. Because how do you win in the NFL? You run the football and you play hardcore defense. How do you win in December? How do you win when it's cold in the frozen tundra? You play good defense and you run that football. We know we now can run that football. We got a bowling ball for a running back. We got an all-around all-star for a running back. And we got a straight line nose run 4 yards. I will get that 4 yards for you with Zach Zenner. So sky is the limit for this team. Folks, this is the season that I have been waiting for years. Finally, this team is well built to play and win in December and take the NFC North. That's what we're going to do. And just give me one moment here, folks. I am about to send a request out to the man beast himself and get this thing going, because I am excited to have this man on the channel and join us and talk Lions football. So, folks, I sent out the request. Man Beast should be on any moment. And then LukeG. And that is a star-studded lineup right there. You have the greatest when it comes to DSA, and you have the founder, basically, when it comes to Man Beast Morris. and we are going to get different perspectives, and we're going to answer all your questions and make this thing go. Sky's the limit, and get that hype going, because we all know who I am. I'm Micro Hype, and it's about making all about the Lions football go to the next step. Noma says, hold on, y'all. Be right back. Okay, we are holding on for sure. Can you give us a quick rundown of the linebacking core? So, what up, though, man, Beast?
What's up, man?
Hey, man. I'm so happy that you are on. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, and it is a pleasure to have the man, Beast Morris, the great man of Detroit.
Yeah. What's going on? What you talking about now?
We are talking. So today is Subscriber Friday. So we answer all the questions when it comes to the chat, whatever they want to talk about, and we go on. And that's just how it goes, man. There is no format. They run the format.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man.
I heard
so what do you got? What up, though? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just got done hearing you talking about the linebacking core.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like you said, we can have a really good linebacker core. That's the last thing I remember you hearing.
Yeah, so what I think could happen is, how does the linebacking core thrive? It's through a defensive line. Now, our defensive line is very well, especially with the addition of Snacks Harrison. Ever since he was placed in the middle as that anchor, our linebackers got better. Davis got better. Now, if Kavai can live up to his second-round status, sky's the limit, because he was a captain for his team. He played in the middle, and it can really help our team out, because I think the only position group on our defense that everybody was worried about is the linebacking core. In my opinion, I think the defensive line is strength. The secondary is a strength. I mean, I love the safety and the cornerback position. So the question's always been, how does the linebackers perform? Now, if they could take that next step, sky's the limit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay, that's how you do that.
I agree with you.
I know how to do
it. You that's my girlfriend.
What up, though, Man Beast Morris' girlfriend?
She can't hear you because I got my headphones on. She got hers on too. But we up here. We was playing Call of Duty together.
Hey, man, that's what's up, man. That's some real stuff right there.
I feel like the Lions. I want to talk about their secondary a little bit. The Lions secondary, like, I got question marks on a little bit on the secondary.
Yeah. So, what's your questions, man?
Like, is Slade actually going to come back and play? I don't want him to do the Le'Veon Bell thing.
Yeah, man. I think he's trying to make a suggestion of trying to get a contract extension. I don't think he has much ground to stand on when it comes to Darius Slade. He's got 2 years left in his contract. This is the only play he can do, and to me, it's not a well played situation. He's not going to do it. I truly don't believe he's actually going to hold out. I think if he does, he's going to hurt himself more than he's going to hurt the team, because he's going to lose a lot of money. He's going to get penalized, and I just don't see us getting a new deal to an individual who's got 2 years left in his contract.
Exactly, and you still like a top 4 highest paid corner in the league. On top of that,
Absolutely. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, I think he's playing okay. What's interesting when it comes to Darius Slay is, we noticed last year how Slay was having issues, I think, with Patricia. Didn't like playing outside in the cold. He made that comment. I think when it comes to more him, I'm not sure if he's buying in 100% to what Patricia's doing, and I think that's kind of what he's playing into.
I think the reason why is because
I ain't got no ammo.
I don't either. But yeah, I think I don't know. I was about to say Caldwell was like his coach, and Caldwell let him get away with a lot of things. That's what I'm thinking. So now Patricia here, he not as lenient with things as Caldwell was.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you in that stance, and I think he's trying to push something that's just not going to happen. Maybe in years past that this would happen, but Bob Quinn's not going to get pushed around like that. He's all about business. He puts the company first, and Slay's not going to win that one. Slay, if you can hear me, you ain't going to win, buddy. It's just not going to happen. So I hear it says, I'd pay Snacks if he changed the whole defense. I think Snacks Harrison's a little different for sure. I don't think he's holding out at all. I definitely see him starting camp. He wanted a new deal when he was with the Giants. I think he's a really good player on and off the field. And again, man, I don't see him holding out. This is just another play for him try to get a deal. I don't see him caring about how Patricia's defenses ran. I think he has no problem with that. And that's also gives him another reason to continue to stay with us. We'll find out here soon, but I totally think they both will be at camp. Is there any other issues you see with the secondary?
Like the number 2 corner, like I don't know who they gonna have at the number 2 corner spot. I really don't, because it's a question mark to me.
Yeah, that's a good question mark to talk about. We have a lot of individuals that potentially could take that number 2 cornerback spot. I believe that the veteran that they picked up, Coleman, he's going to play in the slot. I think that Slay obviously would be the number 1 corner. The veteran that we never hear about. I always forget this guy's name because we never hear about it. Folks in the chat, please tell me the name of the guy who I always forget about, who's on our team that is never talked about. I think he's going to end up being, Rashawn Melvin will be the number 2. That's what I keep thinking about. He'll be the number 2 cornerback. Now, we've not heard anything about him when it comes to OTAs. And when it comes to cornerback position, that's pretty much a good thing because he's not getting beat, but he's not making too many big plays. But no matter what, but in my opinion, it's not a bad thing because we had Nevin Lawson, and Nevin Lawson was terrible. And the cornerbacks that we have now are far much improved over them.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
My bad, man. It's all choppy right now, but have fun.
Hey, that's it's all about having fun, man. Hey, man, it's all good. It's all good. Let's see. He don't want to practice. Okay, you are right, Beast. When said he didn't want to practice in snow, I lost a lot of respect for Slay from Go Lions. Yeah, I think he lost a lot of people's respect because how do you take a team to the next level?
You gotta play in any condition possible. If you ask me, practice or play in it.
Yeah, for sure.
You done?
No.
I can play by myself.
Oh man, I hear nothing but choppiness. What's going on, man?
Go ahead. My bad.
Is there any way you could fix that at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to.
Okay. Yeah, because I all I hear is scratching going on. It's a little hard to hear. So let's see. Okay, let's get back. So again, I lost respect for Darius Slay at that point. I think he needs to buy into what Patricia's doing. If you don't have individuals who buy into the team, then again, you're not going to succeed. You have to have everyone on board. If you're not on board, you don't succeed. Slay needs to get in line. Because how do you win? How do you win? You got to practice harder. You got to push harder. That's how you have a team win in the playoffs.
Like, that snow comment was hilarious, though. I think it was hilarious. I'm like, it made him look soft. But I don't know. He got to bounce back this season. I ain't going to say he was terrible last season, but he wasn't nowhere near as good as he normally be. Like, 2017 was his best season with interceptions. 2016, he wasn't even good as the 2016 stuff to me. Even he did have more interceptions this past year. But in coverage, he just didn't look as good to me.
No, he did take a step back. I don't know if it comes to, again, him not buying into it, but I think that's another reason we got Amani in the 5th round is he could eventually be Darius Slay's replacement. Just like we took him, Darius Slay, and it took him 3 years to kind of take that elite spot. Amani, he can definitely take to the next level. It's just going to take him a couple of years and eventually replace Darius Slay.
Shoot. And speaking of, and another thing I want to talk about, like, I've been thinking about this last couple of days, the offensive line, like, that Kenny Wiggins, they keep saying he going to be starting and stuff, and, like articles like Pride of Detroit keep posting it, and it's really bugging me because the guy is terrible. He cannot do anything right.
Kenny Wiggins cannot start for this team. That would be a dreadful scenario, in my opinion. The guy is not good. Now, if he is starting for us, that is going to be a big, big issue going forward for this team. We cannot run the ball. We cannot keep Stafford upright if he is going to be in there. We need Joe Dahl to step up. We need all the other guards/tackles to step up, like Terrell Crosby. These guys need to step up and take that position from him, because if he starts, we're in a lot of trouble. Would you trade him if he keeps acting out? Talking about Darius Slay. Would I trade him? It depends on the situation. Now, if he demands and he tries to hold out, yeah, I'm going to, if he says, hey, I'm not going to be on the team, I demand a trade, and he tries to make it a situation where it's going to ruin the team going forward, yeah, I'm not going to take it no more, because we need to take the next step. If he's not buying into this, if he does not want to buy into the scheme and learn how to win, I don't want him on the team. I definitely don't, because I would rather have somebody who's less talented 100% on board than somebody who is very talented and it was only 50% on board, because it just ruins teams. What up, though, Troxel Sports?
What up, though, Troxel? What up, though, Luke? I see you in the comments.
And if a trade does occur, a scenario to me would be fairly easy. It would be go to the Arizona Cardinals after week 1 if they wanted to do a trade like that. And that would be getting Patrick Peterson. I think that would be a trade scenario. But again, that is the worst case scenario that I do not see happen, because I just don't. I think he's just trying to get leverage that he doesn't have. The guy's got 2 years on his contract. Just get in there. Get in there and play.
I could see if he had 1 year left, I'll be like, okay, I understand.
Absolutely. If you got 1 year left, I could see it, man. But 2 years, that's insane. It's like, hey, I just got a contract. Now I want another one. That makes no sense, man.
I don't know how to do this shit.
Blue and silver, the O-line will be better because of the run game. I do believe that the O-line will be better. In a sense, that's because TJ Lang's injury. I think TJ Lang was injured, and not having continuity on that offensive line really hurt our team. And now we have the ability to have continuity as long as no one gets injured and run that ball with the bowling ball, run it with Kerryon Johnson and Mr. Consistent Zach Zenner, and really take on defenses. And if you have the ability to run the football, the passing lane opens up. When the passing lane opens up, the running lane opens up. Now we have talented tight ends. And so everything can open up a little bit more, and that will help the offensive line as well, as it will be a little bit weaker. What do you think?
I agree. This offensive line, to me, need to get tougher. Taylor Decker was awful last year. Like, he was, I think he was the worst offensive lineman on the team last year, honestly. Him and Kenny Wiggins. Taylor Decker need to bounce back big time. He's the guy I got my eyes on the most on this offensive line.
I 100% agree with you when it comes to Taylor Decker. I think if this is a big year for him. If he doesn't perform, I can see us putting Terrell Crosby at left tackle and us drafting another tackle in next year's draft, because he cannot let Stafford get hit on the ground as much as Stafford fell. It just can't happen. If you don't have a left tackle that can hold up, nothing's going to work, man. Left tackle is one of the most important positions in all of football.
Yes, and prime example of Taylor Decker being absolutely terrible. Like the 2 games, like against the Vikings, well, mainly the first game, he got absolutely abused against Everson Griffin and Hunter, where they was moving around on the D line. They was abusing him. And the Bears game, he got abused by Khalil Mack. Nah, don't get me wrong, those 2 guys probably top 5 ends in the game, so that's understandable to a degree. And Khalil Mack probably arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. And I don't even like the Bears, but he is. But still, those 2 games and a couple other games, he wasn't good either. He was letting Stafford getting destroyed.
Absolutely. We cannot allow that to happen. And I think Bob Quinn has him on notice. I think that's something that'll be interesting to watch. Terrell Crosby is the wild card, in my opinion. I think he definitely could end up replacing Decker, even throughout the year. If Decker is really not doing well throughout the year, throw Terrell Crosby at left tackle. He's doing a lot of better job. What up, though, JT Sports? He says, how's those safeties looking? If you are not subscribed to Mr. JT Sports, do so. The guy is phenomenal when it comes to football. He knows it all 32 teams. He does live streams on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I like to call in on his show and talk football. He's great at it. Our safeties, I believe, is the most underrated group that on our team. Our safeties are really talented. Quandre Diggs is going to be an individual that the NFL is going to hear about this year. I think he can make the Pro Bowl. Quandre Diggs is a hard-hitting safety that gets in wide receivers' faces, that takes them down hardcore, and wide receivers do not forget Quandre Diggs because he hits you like a rock. He is very solid all around, and he's well at knocking the ball out of the receiver's hands and making those big hits on tight ends. Same with Tracy Walker. He is an individual who's a young stud who is up and coming, who can really make an impact for this team this year. I love Tracy Walker last year with the time when he was on the field, and I think when it comes to our safety position, Tracy Walker will replace Quinn, and better production will happen than it was last year. I think sky is the limit with our safeties and secondary all the way around. What do you think of the safety position, man, dude?
I like the safety position, especially Tracy Walker. Like, this guy can be, if he works hard at it, he can at least be close to like Earl Thomas or something. That's what I can see. Like, if he works at his game. Because the guy, he got good ball skills, like good ball hawking skills, and he know how to gamble on some of the routes that he be taking. When I seen him in there.
Absolutely, man. Sky's the limit for him. Insanely Fresh says nobody's close to Earl Thomas, LMAO. We're not saying that he is Earl Thomas. He has the potential to be that. Now, if you've seen him play on our team, his ball skills are phenomenal. The guy has a knack for finding the ball. I always call it the Spidey sense. He knows where the ball is at, and he can make a play on it. That's what's really good about our safeties. We got the hard hitter in Quandre Diggs, and we got the ball hawk in Walker. And you have that combination. You have a safety position, if stayed healthy, that can really take this team to the next level. Are we saying that he is Thomas? No, he has the potential. That is his ceiling, and that's darn good to have from a young guy like Walker. Question: Will Harris see the field at all? Yes, he will see the field at all. If you looked how we did last year, we implemented players throughout the season on different downs, because when it comes to making the defense, Patricia likes to mix it up and throw in trick plays. And you've seen a lot of that with Tracy Walker actually last year when he was throwing in on different downs, and he would have three safeties in there, or a safety guarding a wide receiver. He does all this type of stuff. I see him doing that this year and slowly implementing him onto the team. It just takes a little bit to learn. And just like Melvin Drew says, will be a sub package. 100% agree. That's exactly what I'm saying. He will not be on the field all the time, but he will slowly get implemented into the defense.
Speaking of safeties and things, like I was wondering, like, dang, did Miles Killebrew, do he still assist? Like, I forgot he was on the team. Like, I was just thinking about, like, oh, dang, he is still on the team. Like, I ain't see this guy on the field in so long. Like, he's definitely the odd man out.
I 100% agree with you. There's actually a article that was put out, I think yesterday, saying that he was going to make the team. He's not. I don't see him making the team at all. They have him in the linebacking group, I think, right now. He is the odd man out unless somehow he explodes, which I truly don't see. We got a lot of talent. I just don't see him making the team. He would have to really explode, like show something. I feel definitely he's the odd man out.
I guess he could be good for special teams. And I haven't seen his hard-hitting abilities like that in the NFL. Nah, granted, they didn't give him enough opportunities like that either. But I don't know, because he wasn't good enough, or excuse me, I don't know, he wasn't good enough or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of skills, maybe defense, how they played. They're having him at linebacker right now because he's a little bit bigger at safety, so that maybe they feel that he was not the size for safety and more of a linebacker. I don't know. I just think he's the odd man out. He doesn't really fit the scheme. They're trying to go bigger at the linebacking core. He's not, to me, as big as they want at the linebacking core, and he's not the size they want at safety. So he's kind of just the odd man out. Go Lion says, what's our record prediction this year? 19-0. I wish. I am going to go with 11 wins this year. 11-5. I think that is a record they can do and take the NFC North.
I got the same record, to be honest with you.
Great minds think alike.
Because in this division, yes, the Bears got defense. They do. And their offense is okay. I just don't see them beating the Lions. I think the Lions got more balance than them. The Bears solely all up on Khalil Mack. They all up worried about him so much.
Well, when you look at our team compared to them, there's one big difference maker, and this is what JMO and I talk about a lot, is Trubisky versus Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, is far and above Trubisky. Trubisky's ceiling is, to me, is top 15, or not top 15, but he's like a 15th ranked quarterback. He's not going to ever get to that top elite level. He can't take that team to the next level. You got to have a quarterback that has that ability. And yes, they have a good defense. They have an okay offense, but they don't have an elite quarterback. What do we got? We got a really solid defense. I think our offense is going to explode, not having KFC in there and a real offensive coordinator. We have a running game, and we have Matthew Stafford.
Yes, we do. The main thing I think that's going to be the key factor in this division on who wins it, whoever runs the ball the best, because the Lions and Bears defense really not that far apart. It's really not. It's not far apart as people say it is. Their defense not that much better than ours. And our offense, to me, we got more weapons than they do. It just who runs the ball better.
Oh, man, I 100% agree with you. I think our offense, man, I don't think people understand how well our offense has when it comes to weapons. We got Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones. They're good receivers. Okay, we got Damian Ndola somewhat to replace Golden Tate. But we got our tight ends are insane. We got TJ Hawkinson, who is a blue chipper. We got Jesse James. I think Nada can eventually be a really good tight end in the passing game like Aaron Hernandez was to Gronkowski. And we got a running back core with Kerryon Johnson, a darn good running back. CJ Anderson, who's a bowling ball, and we got Mr. Consistent Zach Zenner. I don't think people understand how well this offense is going to be this year. KFC really hurt our team last year. I think sky's the limit, and we're going to be rolling on folks like we haven't seen in some time.
I got us with a top 7 defense and a top 10 offense. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's definitely manageable for sure. And if you have balance like that, and you also got to think of our special teams too. We got Jamal Agnew and Ty Johnson. They are fast, so one can do a punt and the other one can do a kick return. It is going to be epic. All three phases of our team for the first time in a long time are really good. In 2011, our offense was elite. 2014, our defense was elite. We haven't had it all together. And I think this is the year we're going to have all three phases together and really show the NFL that you sleeping on the Lions. Good luck with that, because we're going to be winning a lot of games that they don't expect.
Dude, I know you've seen that video I made about the NFL Network predicting us to go 4-12, which I don't see. But Tim
I've seen that.
And Tim Hasselbeck said it. I don't know how, but okay.
These people in the mainstream media are a bunch of morons. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're so inept when it comes to understanding sports. They just assume Detroit sucks. That's all they know, because they don't know anything else. They assume that we're gonna just lose and be a terrible team. They're not actually looking at the players, the scheme. They're not looking at the foundation that's created the depth. And I can't wait to see the look on their face when we are 11-win team and we take the NFC North. Because I know every week after week they're going to say, okay, Detroit won because the other team lost. Well, you can only do that so many times. And I know you'll be going after them after the games, because I always watch your show throughout the years after we win a game or lose a game, and you'll be dogpiling on those fools.
Oh, yeah. Like a couple years ago, when I know this is a while back, but when people said we was going to lose to the Saints and we destroyed them in 2016, like something like that, that's a prime example.
Oh, yeah, man. I just sent the invite for LukeG. I remember watching that. I remember watching the episode with you guys, DVE. I was cracking up the whole time, man. I don't have the ability to watch it at time when you're doing it, but when I'm at work, I be listening to that stuff, especially after a Lions victory, and I just be laughing the whole time.
I be trying to watch some of y'all videos.
Hey, man. We all got a life. I know a lot of stuff was going on with you, and man, you made that video a while ago about the depression, and dude, I think that is the greatest thing of all time, how you came out and said that, because I have the same issue, and a real man, a real individual will come out and talk real life. And man, I'm really proud of you that you came out and did that, and it just shows the testament to your character.
Oh, yeah. Don't let that defeat me.
No way, man. That's why we can't do that, because how am I going to hear a man beast Morris after a Lions victory, man? I want to hear that for a couple hours. That stuff cracked me up. I think we all need that.
I just want to see Luke trying to come in.
Yeah, I'm sending him the invite. Luke, I sent you the invite. You got to accept it. So hopefully we get Luke in here, LukeG from LukeG's Field Review. I'm sure he's going to want to talk about Detroit Sports Alliance for a little bit. The news that we had today that the Gridiron Blitz is no longer with us, and he's going to probably want to talk about the future of the DSA.
What happened to the Gridiron Blitz?
He is no longer with the Detroit Sports Alliance, and he decided to do his own thing. He had a lot of stuff going on. As you know, as you're a content creator, you know that how long it takes to make these videos and the hours and time frame that it does. And so when you're doing as much as he is, and he's got a family, so I'm sure he'll start to wear on him a little bit. I know he'll speak for himself, but yeah, he's no longer with the Detroit Sports Alliance, and no worries though, because we will still keep going on. The roundtable will still keep going, and absolutely, the Gridiron Blitz is a fantastic individual, and we support him all the way for his endeavors now and his future, because we are a family. Yo, Luke, I'm sending it to you, man. You got to get it going. I don't know what's going on with your acceptance here, but I'm sending it to you. I'm trying to get my man on here. I sent it to you. There you go.
Melvin True. Melvin
What
Drew
up,
said,
though, Luke?
What up, though?
What up, though, Luke?
Man, what up, though, man, Beast?
So
Man, listen, this traffic in Michigan, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now. It seems like the minute the weather break, people they get stupid. It never fails, man. Never fails.
I was talking about that today.
Man, the traffic is ridiculous, bro. And we're not as bad as other states in terms of construction. But I had to go down some roads that should have really been fast that ended up taking me forever because of construction. So, but enough of that, man. Let's talk this football, man.
All right, let's get it cracking, man.
Well, listen, but I think before we go into that, about the DSA, about the roundtable, about the Gridiron Blitz, I really think you hit on that. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a lot of people don't understand how much time goes into making a 5-minute video. You know, for you guys, it's 5 minutes. For us, it may be 4 or 5 hours. You know, so and even sometimes when I make my videos, which are a little bit more lengthy, it's because I have to do so much recording just to allow for me to have wiggle room to do the editing a little bit faster. So it's a very daunting thing, but you know, hey, the DSA is still in effect full, and yeah, while it's sad to lose a member, it's also a day of not being sad because he had to make a decision that best suits him and his family, and I think that he did that. So I respect that, and I ask that the rest of us respect it as well. So that's how it works for me in terms of that. But in terms of this thing called football, now listen, we got one Private 40 says breaking news: 2 fat dudes on a moped in front of Luke. Not today, man. That I couldn't believe it. Like it was literally like 2 fat dudes taking up the like a whole lane and a half on these little bitty mopeds. Like it's the most uncomfortable thing to see. Like, why are you guys on these little bitty mopeds? Like it.
Yeah, I hate that, but
hey, you gotta keep rolling.
Question for you: what freeway were you driving on? Like I-75?
Yes.
Oh, I thought so. I knew it.
Bruh,
I can just tell.
I'm like, bro, what's up with this construction? And then everybody just gets stupid. Then guess what though? Real talk, no joke. You know how everybody in the summertime would have pulled out those motorcycles that look like cars with the one big fat wheel in the back and the 2 in the front? I think they call spiders or something like that. I seen like 2 of those on the freeway, right? And I'm thinking, why are you on the freeway in this little bitty contraption, bro? You taking up space for people with real vehicles. It's just frustrating, man. It's really frustrating. Now wait a minute. Let me read some of these comments, man. I'm trying to keep up what's going on. Some Buzz Spray say the potholes. Detroit Big Will says I want to hear more about the road, bruh. No, bruh.
I-75 is a train wreck.
Bruh, it's all bad. It's all bad. And even if you try to like detour to one of the other freeways, man, it's very difficult, man. It's very difficult. It says I'm late to the party, but what up, though, General G Berry? What up, though? Melvin Drew says, so what would be our defining game, and at what point that game affects our season? To me, it's Kansas City. What's going on, son?
I'm gonna go back to mommy.
Okay. My son, he comes and just speak to me and head back on off, man. Um, but yeah, I mean, to me, it's gonna be Kansas City. Um, because it's one of them games. If they win it, it's gonna be like, oh, expectations go up. If they lose it, they same old Lions.
Yeah, I
You know,
100% agree with you too. It's a game in the beginning of the season as well, so it's something that's going to define how the rest of the season goes. Again, if we win it, sky will be the limit, and a lot of people will be drinking the Kool-Aid when it comes to fans. But if we lose it, the expectations is not really that big because they expect us to lose it.
I mean, right. And I see we got some questions in here. Like, One Pride 40 says, "Hey, Luke, you think we should or we will trade for a guard?" No, we will not. You got to keep in mind that right now every team is allowed to have 90 players on their roster. And that 90 got to get cut down to 53. So there's going to be some options there if they're looking to truly upgrade the guard position. But the guards that you want to look at are guards who fit the zone run scheme. So um, now the first black man on the net says, Luke, they running 3 tight end sets with Logan entrenched as the third. Uh, Bevel would not be predictable. Yeah, he's going to run a whole lot of 3 tight end sets, mixing receivers in and out. The Viking. Hold on, my son up here in rare form. Son.
Why are you laughing?
Okay, son. All right.
LukeG's son is the MVP, man.
Listen,
I got a question for Luke.
Okay.
Mike already heard it, but what do you think of Kenny Wiggins potentially starting for us at that guard position? Because I'm really nervous right now.
I think here's the thing. You only as strong as your weakest link, right? And so if you go through and you look at Kenny Wiggins' stats individually, he didn't do that bad. He just wasn't as strong as you would like for the guard position to be. What that means to me is it's his job to lose, and I think they're going to give him a fair chance to keep the job. But yes, you have to be concerned with Kenny Wiggins as your guard. You just have to be. And the truth is, you're hoping that one of these undrafted rookies can step it up, or maybe, he somehow gets hurt. I hate to say that, but he somehow gets hurt that limits his reps and give somebody else a chance to get reps to take that spot. But when you're playing guard, you need to be one or two things. You need to be either a tractor or a trailer. Either you're able to carry and help assist the line, or you just another part of the line that's going to be a liability, in my opinion. I mean, just look at the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys had a weak link, and it was a rough day for the quarterback.
We got to have one of these guys step up, whether it be Terrell Crosby or Joe Dahl or Bo Benshaw. They really need to step up. I think they have the potential to do it, though. I have a lot of faith in Terrell Crosby. It's one of my favorite picks last year, and I do believe he has the ability to play the guard position. And I think if they give him a chance, he can beat out Wiggins for sure, in my opinion. And also, we're hearing a lot of positive reviews when it comes to Joe Dahl and his getting back in shape. So that's another thing to kind of look at. I'm not 100% sure how that will play out. But, again, I think Terrell Crosby, if he can do it, that would be good. If he can get Terrell Crosby and Glasgow as the guard, that would be a lot better than Wiggins. I am nervous about Wiggins. I'm not a big fan of that guy.
Well, Terrell Crosby has got to show that he's athletic enough. He's athletic enough to pull. And I think first black man on the net hit the nail on the head where he says Crosby and Pope will be tackle depth. And that's what they're going to be looking at. Who's going to be the tackle depth. And Crosby is one of them, but they still want that versatility out of it. I just think in the case of Crosby, man, he got to show he's a little bit more athletic.
He does. He's got to show it. He played a little bit of guard last year when Lang went down, and I liked what I saw. And we were talking about this earlier about Taylor Decker. We're a little bit nervous how Taylor Decker will perform this year. I think if Taylor Decker goes and becomes a lame duck and does not perform well, that Terrell Crosby could take his spot throughout the year. If he is constantly getting beat, and really not improving from last year, we definitely could be looking at getting a tackle in next year's draft and or having Terrell Crosby move to the left or right side eventually to take Wagner or Decker's spot.
I mean, they picked up his option. So, I mean, they're going to give him a chance to earn it. But the one thing that has been consistent with Bob Quinn is even a broke product that has versatility is worth keeping around at a less price. So, it's still a good chance they can keep him, but it's one of the things where this is a make or break year for a lot of people in positions we're not talking about, including positions like the offensive line, like the tackle and the guard. But because they're going to be running the ball a little bit more, I think you're going to see a lot of those positions not look as bad. Now, if you just can't cut nobody off in the blocking scheme, then we got problems.
Well, and I can use a kind of relate to that. It's like my fingernail. It was a little bit broke. Okay, so it was usable, but I had to pull that thing off to start completely over and be fresh because just playing, man.
You is silly, man. You is absolutely silly. And listen, the crazy part is you got to let people in on that joke.
Okay, man. So I don't know if I told some people about it on the chat. I had a cut underneath my fingernail yesterday, so I ripped my whole fingernail off, and then I super glued a fake fingernail onto my hand.
Lord
so it
Jesus.
looked like
Where they came from work?
Man.
So we are rolling strong. It's just like putting, we got to have a full strength when it comes to that offensive line. We can't have something a little broke, a little tweaked up. We got to be full strength, that bad boy. And so hopefully it plays out. That's my biggest question mark with this team is the offensive line. Again, I think it's nerve-wracking because you want an offensive line to be the best, especially when it comes to Matthew Stafford's back. We know what happens if Stafford is on the ground, and you're not going to win a lot of games, and you're not going to perform well with Stafford.
Absolutely. Hurt. I mean, but even with the question from Insanely Fresh, he says, "Do you think we should believe that we should bring in Trey Boston or Eric Berry?" No.
No.
Eric Berry, Eric Berry's last full season was a long time ago. Trey Boston has been moved around a number of times, and it's not like Trey Boston do one thing good or one thing bad. So if you asking me, I don't think we should bring in either of those guys.
What do you think about that, Man Beast?
I agree. Like, we should just roll what we got right now. That's what, if you want to ask.
We have a decent amount of cap space right now. We are 10th best in the NFL. And I think there's a reason that we have this. It's because Quinn has been doing a really good job by cleaning up the cap mess that Mayhew has made for this team. And I think it's important that we have this cap space because we don't know if an injury happens during the year, and potentially we have to pick somebody up via trade, or if they want to do a contract extension to another individual on the team, like a Kenny Galladay. If we continually pick up individuals like a Barry, we're going to destroy that cap and eventually ruin our team and not be able to sign players to future contracts, because it is so important to win financially. Because if you don't win financially, your team is going to fall apart. You have to have depth. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. They went all in last year when it comes to their cap space. They went all in. They tried to win the Super Bowl. It didn't happen. They're going to be in cap hell for a while. Because if you do that, you're not building a future team. You're building for now. You got to be able to constantly have cap space and the ability to throw players in and out. That's how the Patriots do it. That's how winning teams do it.
I mean, and it's one of those things that you also got to look at with, like Eric Whittaker. He says, play those young guys. To me, it's one of the things where I look at it. How many times have y'all seen the coaching carousel? Every team want to use an old coach in the NFL but nobody knew from the college ranks or from even the high school ranks or any ranks is getting a chance to come in and see if they can coach these guys. Sometimes injecting new blood and young blood into it gives you more benefit than just keep, kicking the tires on an old product. At some point, you got to put that old school car up and upgrade your car. And so to me, I do look at that idea of being out of cap hell and saying, listen, they got cap to work with. Just because you have it don't mean you got to spend it. It just means you need to spend it wisely. It's just like investing. Now, insanely, first black man on the net says, yo, Luke, Eric Schultz said he saw them not only run three tight end sets, but 6 offensive linemen. Are we smash mouth or what? Plus, Jeff Davis in year 2 is huge. Yeah, we're definitely going to be a smash mouth team. I have read somewhere, I can't think exactly of the article where I read it, but they talked about that they saw the Lions line up in that 6-man. What is that?
Turn that stuff down, man.
What in the? I mean, what?
I sent him a request a while ago.
I don't know what was that.
That was no misfit.
What in the world? I mean, I enjoyed the song though because that was Slick Rick and everything. But what in the world? What? I mean, it just came in out of nowhere. Just a little story. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
I don't know what happened, man. I sent him a request a while ago.
You must be outside.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm outside, man. I had to step out, otherwise my son, man, he he see me on the phone and that's the go light. That's the green light for him to go and talk to me. It's funny how kids act, man. When you ain't on nothing, you ain't doing nothing, they don't even want to be bothered with you. But as soon as you do something, they want to come and talk to you. It just amazes me, man. You gotta love them.
Hey, you gotta enjoy the nice weather outside, man. Perfect time.
But yeah, I did read this article about them running the six offensive linemen, and what they said is a few times they saw the offensive lineman go out for a pass, and I'm like, oh my god! I mean that makes it even difficult because if you come out and you account for this to be a big package where they're going to run the ball and you get caught in that play action, and the tight end is the tackle who's now getting out for a pass. I mean, that's not predictable. That's hard to cover. And when you look at the way that the Lions are going to beat, their goal is just to make sure that they're not predictable. So, now Eric Whittaker says, I got 3 kids. That's so true. Bruh, I promise you, my son, I cannot be doing anything. And I'd be like, hey, you want to come play with me? And he would literally wave me off like, no, go back to the sidelines. But the minute I get to the sidelines and decide to play with my helmet, he want to come over here and be like, hey, Dad, what are you doing? Like what? so, I mean, again, man, you gotta respect that. Now, let me ask y'all a question because, wait, I like this question right there. He says, I can't wait to see the bunch formation and tight end leaked from run blocks and running back screens. Man, listen, I cold-heartedly believe you're going to see a whole lot of running back screens. I know that it was breaking news to a lot of the Detroit news writers, but it was not breaking news to me that Kerryon can catch. I mean, I'm still amazed that they thought that was a thing. Like, they can catch the ball. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What have you been watching? But the truth is, yes, they're going to have a lot of things that will make it very hard for teams to pick up on what they're doing. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be lights out. It's going to be a slow burn, just like New England. Nobody says Tom Brady is dink and dunk, but he does. He dinks and dunks a lot of his years, and when he has the weapon to throw deep, he throw it deep.
We all know what the game of football is. It's a chess game. There's not much difference when talent. If another team knows exactly what you're going to play, it's destined for failure. We watched the season last year. I knew as a fan what the play was going to be. It was run, pass, punt. If I know that as a fan, the defense does as well, it's impossible for the offense to work. Impossible. If they know exactly where the ball is going to be, how can you win? So getting rid of KFC and now bringing an innovative individual like Darrell Bevel, who is going to mix plays up, and we do not know what the play is going to be, that's a gigantic advantage from what we've had in years past. And sky is the limit for this offense and how the formations are going to be played with 3 tight end sets or having 3 running backs in the backfield and play actions. I'm so psyched to see this, man. I don't know about you, man, Boris, man Beast, but I'm super excited to see this.
And speaking of, well, I'm gonna keep it clean on here, but KSC, his play style was just, his play calling was just bubble screen, slant, and punt. That's it. Maybe run up the middle every now and then, but we still didn't use carry on enough. I don't care.
Nah. We didn't. He should have got way more carries. It was very frustrating for me as a fan of football first. Forget the Lions. Just take them out the picture. It's frustrating for me as a person who's played the game and is a fan of the game in a way that's different. And to sit there and watch us come out and I can literally call the plays out. And I don't even drink. But if I did drink, I would never get drunk because I would be able to accurately call out the plays. Every time I was like, okay, run left, run right, run up the middle. Okay, here go play action, slant, bubble screen. People don't understand how important it is to have variety. It's very important. Even when you go to the greatest show on turf, they have variety. And it made it hard for you to pinpoint what they were doing. But people want to just focus on the results. And when you get caught up focusing on just the results, football is going to become more and more unenjoyable for you because they're changing the game in a way to suit those fantasy football people. So just FYI.
Well, as an individual myself, I played the game of football as a wide receiver. When I played against the defense, the talent was fairly even. It's how could I beat the individual? If they know what I was going to do and where I'm going to be, it's an automatic fail. You have to win by talent. And if the talent is fairly even, it's an automatic loss. So you have to be able to trick teams and have plays that they don't automatically know it's going to happen. You cannot win that way. And that was so frustrating. It was so frustrating to watch. And I believe the predictability will be gone, and I'm really excited to see that. Now, I see breaking news. Kerryon Johnson can break tackles. Yeah, that's some breaking news.
You know what that is? That's a shot at these ridiculous writers who are shocked that he can catch the ball. Like, Kerryon's going to be a threat out the backfield. I'm like, he was always a threat. Like
Kerryon he could do everything. If you want him to kick return, he can even do that if you really want him to. He could do that too. But the thing is, speaking of the media, did you hear Marvin Jones diss on
I did. I did.
It was hilarious.
Because he's pointing out the same things that many of us have seen, but some of us still buy into it. That's why you still hear a lot of those same old Lions statements and I respond with same old Lions fan. Like, it's a new year. You still talking about 2018 and 2001 and you want to still tell me what they ain't did since 1934 when you weren't even born until 1980. Come on. Like, spare me all this, And the truth is I tell everybody, if you're going to do that, then you're going to have a long history. But it's 31 other teams. Go talk to one of them, okay? In fact, I applaud those same fans to be bandwagon fans. That way, at least I know you ain't got no loyalty. So it's better than just having you be here and saying you're a Lions fan and just hating for no reason.
Ain't nothing wrong with being critical of the Lions. Ain't nothing wrong. You can criticize the team.
Right. Absolutely. I want you to be critical of a team. But I've talked to some people who have flat out said to me, and I can't make this up, man, Beast. They have flat out told me that the Lions have done zero, nada, nothing to get better. And I'm like, what? And then the first thing they tell me is, look how hard their schedule is. And I'm like, why do you think their schedule is hard? Because somebody said it is? Everybody play the same teams.
Who knows?
So,
who knows who's gonna be this year? We don't know. The Chiefs might take a nosedive because something happened.
Right. But see, they be so bent on living in the past that the first thing that they do is they start downing it. And that's what I'm saying. I have talked to some fans that no matter what happened, it's always Stafford's fault. The Lions ain't doing nothing. They trash. I don't mind if a person is critical of the team. I'm going to be critical. As the season go on, I'm going to be critical. But there's a way to be critical, and then there's a time when we hit the off season and it's like up on to the new season. But I can't keep talking about what happened in 1920.
Can't either. Shit.
Breaking news. Yeah. Well, it was like the same concept that I got say we cannot draft TJ Hawkinson because we took Eric Ebron. Okay, well, if we live with that fact, then why did we take Calvin Johnson? Because we drafted Charles Rogers. We drafted Michael Williams. So that concept just does not make any sense. You have haters that just hate for no logical reason. They're not looking at what is taking place. They just hate. Just like we're having people at ESPN and SportsCenter saying the Lions are going to go 4-12. You have Carlos Manure saying that everything that the Lions do is a straight F. They don't know what they're talking about, and yet they're in position to spread this news to people, and that's what we are about. We are combating these morons and taking the facts straight to them. And I'm glad they're starting to take notice because it makes me very proud when you hear Carlos Manure say, "Oh, YouTubers are not happy with what I'm doing."
No, and we're not going to be happy. And here's the thing. There's another YouTuber by the name of Tom Grazi who talks about the Packers. And he had to drop a video about the media and the fake news and how he made this one statement that I could not agree with more. And what he said is guys who are in their basements and extra rooms making videos on YouTube should not have a more in-depth approach and understanding of what's going on than people being paid. What was that? Hello?
Yeah, that was my girl.
It should never be that way. And what's interesting is you're watching the legacy media start to fail because you're having a lot of individuals, and I'm sure it's not just us as Detroit Lions fans. I'm sure there's other fans from other teams as well that's just had enough. They've had enough of the misinformation, the disinformation, the fake news, the constant critical hate for their team, and they're like, you know what? It's time to make a change. I mean, that's why I did it. I simply watched free agency. We made a great moves, and then I go on SportsCenter, and they talked about the Packers moves. Packers didn't make anybody. So I'm like, you know, I had enough of this. I'm going to make a YouTube, and I'm going to speak the truth of how I see it, because these guys, they have no idea what's going on. And I hope this trend continues, and I hope more individuals start taking up to YouTube and other platforms to smoke these people out because they're misleading and they're giving mis and disinformation.
I mean, take it a step further, man. We signed CJ Anderson, and the whole entire story is about what the Rams lost. Like they act as if though CJ Anderson was the starting running back, and they don't have Todd Gurley. And I'm thinking, if you're going to tell me about all these things the Rams lost, then why not sit there and say how good of a pickup this is for the Detroit Lions?
Oh yeah, I remember that video. I remember that.
Yeah, but they won't do that. They don't want to do that, you know. And that's where the problem come in at, you know. What up, though, C-Rad TV?
What up, though, C-Rad?
And the truth is, I see him in Siptroit Media. What up, though? You know, it's one of them things where I just look at it and I just say, let's be honest about this, okay? Let's be honest about this and let's pay attention to what the media does. What is it easier to do? Like, okay, they had a positive story on Free P that had the smallest segment I had ever seen. And it was just talking about these kids who graduated from an academy that the Detroit Lions had paid for them to have a good education. That don't get no push. That don't get no media. But then they go and make up stories about Marvin Jones, and he got to do R&B diss tracks. I mean, this is crazy to me. You know, like when are we going to, when are we going to start to see that things are changing around here? And we can't if the media is telling people that they're not. You
Our
know,
local media is the worst. They feeding the outsiders more food to feed off on. What I mean by that is
absolutely.
they keep on saying just negativity, like things that's just not true. Or I just don't like the Detroit media. I hate them personally. They,
I mean, if you look at the Detroit media, and the truth is this: many of those in the Detroit media don't really know the sports that they're writing about, but they are good writers. They just don't know the sports that they're writing about. And to me, you have to be fair. Everything can't just be negative. You see what I'm saying? No more than everything can be positive. And what we're starting to see is this trend where when they ratings go down, ain't nobody buying papers, don't nobody want to read their stories, drop a Matthew Stafford story, we'll get our papers viewed and stories to go up. You
But
know,
not
it's
no more.
crazy.
Not when they drop a video. I like how we're seeing Pride Nation going on their videos and thumbing down on it and talking about the Detroit Sports Alliance and DVE are taking it to them. We are taking it to them, and I'm glad that they see it because I really want to put them out of business and have them reeling and changing the way they do things because how they doing it is not working. It's fake news, and again, it takes individuals in their basement or in a closet on a laptop to do real research while these guys get paid good money to just write out some fake news that sounds good, some clickbait.
Yeah, and I love what Don Burr points out. They got to win consistently. And listen, Luke will be the first one to tell you that's a true statement. You have to win consistently to get it. But here's the thing: when you're doing stories in the off season, as it is right now, nobody is playing the game. Nobody has took a snap against another team. Why can't you just actually look at the possibilities and say, "Dang, was this a good signing? Yes or no?" And report on that. Why try to take it a step further to make look at every article they put out. Every article they put out, they're talking about the past. Every time somebody want to debate me about the Lions, they're talking about the past. When people want to debate me on Matthew Stafford, they use a stat that's not even real, quarterback record, which is funny because last time I checked, it's 11 people on the field. The only one who get the record is the quarterback. These are the little things that they don't see. There's a lot of things that we don't see that subject us to the hive mentality and have us thinking things that are not true. It's just not true. Like think about this. Why is the quarterback the only one that get a record? The kicker don't get one. The receiver don't get one. The running back don't get one. Offensive line don't get none. Only one gets it is the quarterback. Why? The quarterback and the head coach. That's crazy.
They trying to find a reason to hate Matthew Stafford.
I mean, but it's not even just Matthew Stafford. What they try to do is they try to make the organization look bad by attacking its top player. The best way you want to discredit somebody is attack the person closest to him. You know what I'm saying? If I want to dislike, for example, like those idiots who decided to try to go around from video to video saying that I was the one who hacked Dose of Dion. Like, if you look at my videos, you tell me, do it look like I know enough about computers to hack myself? I could barely put my password in my cell phone, let alone hack somebody. But guess what? Their thought process was if I discredit Luke, I could discredit DSA. I could discredit all the other people in DSA, and it was a fail. It didn't make no sense.
It made no sense. I could barely have a hard time doing this Hangouts, more or less hack someone's channel.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. No one would do something like that, and that's just utterly ridiculous. I told that individual, I said, hey, if you got your proof, show it or shut it. and he shut it because he ain't got no proof because it's made up. It's fake.
Shoot, probably was Judah Tribe. For all we know, shoot.
I don't think it was him. I don't. I don't, because these two. See, here's the thing. These two people who said it, literally. I went to their channels and they all had 3 videos. So it was, and the 3 videos had them looking like 2 idiots in a Dragon Ball Z / Biodome flick. It was horrible. So I figure. I figure I can get a target on my back for helping anybody. That's just like if somebody hacked your account, Man Beast, and I go out and tell everybody, hey, report that channel, get off that channel, Man Beast, that's not him, he got hacked. I know I'm going to get a target on my back. I know it. I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, that's not how this is going to work. I'm about community, man, and that's why when it comes to sports, you won't hear me talk about nothing but the sport that I love, which is football. I ain't to talk about nothing else.
Blue and Silver says, Mike, is there an alternative to Google Hangouts? I am going to defer that to you, Luke, and or Man Beast, because you guys know this a lot more than me when it comes to doing a live stream.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it is this. Google itself is getting rid of the Hangouts. So if they're going to be an alternative right now, they have not announced one. But I gotta believe that they're going to have an alternative. Now, YouTube itself has its own streaming feature, but what it don't do is it does not allow for multiple people to be on at the same time. So what's going to end up happening is people may end up having to find alternative ways to have multiple people on and have it probably be pre-recorded versus going live. But I believe that if there's a will, there's a way. And just like Jurassic Park, the main quote in Jurassic Park is, life will find a way, and we will find a way to keep the live streams going and to keep y'all informed on what's happening. So, but right now, they have not announced an alternate. First Black Man on the Net says, Luke, I told you what happened to that cat when he was little on that playground. Right. Right.
Y'all talking about when Hangouts ending and
Whoa,
stuff?
I'm hearing some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing either. All I heard was like somebody literally was moving the dresser, and they got all wood floors.
What up, Joe Nomas?
Man.
I should have known that was Nomas coming in.
Oh, don't you dare.
I should have known.
Disclaimer, not to go off subject, but disclaimer, I am in the building. I am part of DSA. And ladies, if you are over 21 or over, I am literally falling for you.
Oh, my sweet Jesus. Did you just come out here for real with the ladies man hit? Like, that's what we doing out here? We doing love connections on sports channels? That's what we doing?
Hey, they say you got to be aggressive in sports the same way. Rules apply.
I guess.
Nomas.
You literally
just
grab a girl by the arm and yank her.
What up, though, Buffed Up? I see Buffed Up is in the building. Mellow Mo says, DSA is about to be united and better. The perception of this great team we all love. Hey, man, that's what's up. That's what we're trying to do.
Points I will be
Edward
making.
Says, Zoom, maybe. Will that work? You know what? I don't know about Zoom. I had to look into Zoom, but it has to be a way. They're not going to take it out because the thing is this. YouTube is in this to make money, okay? And whether y'all know it or not, even us people right here, us little small channels who don't have but a couple thousand subscribers, they make money off of us. They do. They put ads on our channels without us even wanting them on there. How many times have you went to a channel to try to watch something and it's an ad about something you never going to use, like Cialis? You like, what? I don't need no Cialis. And they like, but yeah, this video is for you. No, it's not. So I think we're going to find a way to make it happen. Trust.
We will for sure, man. We're definitely make sure. I'll look
What
through
up,
whatever I can, man, to make sure that we get these live streams to keep going. Just like Luke said, they're in to make money, and I guarantee you YouTube is not going to want to lose all the revenue that would happen if they simply had no other alternative.
Now, One Prize 40 makes a very good suggestion of Twitch, but I'm going to figure it out because Twitch could be another platform that you can use.
See, they more for gaming though.
No.
I mean, Twitch is kind of open though. I mean, I know a lot of gamers use it, but Twitch is kind of open.
Yeah, but I'll say this though, I'm confident that YouTube will find a way for you to do it, even if they gotta go through their own company and kind of have their own session where it's like, okay, this person go live and he can actually invite people in. If YouTube got to do that, they'll do it. We won't have to worry about it because they know.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
I think they'll find it on their own.
Yeah, I mean, it's a money thing, man. Everything is a money thing. If money makes the world go round, people.
Because I just noticed, not to cut you off, I just noticed a while back that Google Plus is gone. And
Google Plus is gone. Yep.
But you have to wonder though why, because YouTube is like the biggest marketing for uploading videos and watching videos. Google Plus is just like they was using it as like a side way for people who use that app more than YouTube or something like that. And that's really why they probably said bumping we losing money on that. So Hangouts, I guarantee you, there must be something else out there where they go feel like YouTube about to take control of that, and that's why they've been bought out. And I feel that's what it is, like a low key buying out type of thing without us actually realizing it.
Well, the thing is with Google is when Google introduces a new product and they start to take off, then they get rid of the old product. So when Google introduced Google Duo, then Google Hangouts became a thing of the past, and that's why the live stream for that is going. Now, Mellow Mo says, why are they taking live streams away in the first place? They're not technically taking the live streams away. They're taking away Google Hangouts. And Google Hangouts makes it very easy for us to get multiple people on there to stream at the same time and have it all be recorded and us have open conversation. They're taking that part of it away. First Black Man on the Net says, Luke, feed me some more of that Bevel optimism. I get you that. I can get you that all day, man, because I really believe even if you look at Daryl Bevel's offense, it's not like it's always in the top 5, top 10, but it's like Novocaine. It's like Novocaine. Give it time, it'll work. You know what I mean? And when you go through and you look at it, people say, well, it's different. They had Russell Wilson. I said, well, go and look at his offense with the Vikings. He only got fired from the Vikings because they needed somebody to blame. And you usually start off with the offensive coordinators. Like you start off with the position coaches and stuff. So,
now these will be points that I'll be making later on the video I'm gonna be dropping. So I ain't made a Lions video in God knows how long. So, these will be some of the points I'm making later on. This is gonna be a heads up video for y'all to really get y'all to say, hey, wait till you see it, because I'm tired of whining and the crybaby. Okay, we dealt with a terrible coordinator for damn 4 years. If anybody that even has a slightly better track record, we should at least be willing to accept them with open arms.
Daryl Bevel know what he's doing. He been out here for like almost 20 years, so yeah. Like
Daryl Bevel?
Yeah, Bevel. Like he was the guy that coached the Vikings, helped coach the Vikings to the NFC Championship game in 2009.
Yep.
Bevel.
Yep.
He's been to Super Bowls. Bevel has won playoff games.
And guess what? The passing game and rushing game was ranked in the top 5. Both of them.
Yeah, and the thing is, there'll be times through the years where, like, 1 year they will be like the hottest running team and maybe top 10 passing, but then another year they'll drop in both areas, but they'll still be more consistent because the fact of the matter, his offense, I'll say this much, I should say this for the video, but his offense to me really heavily depends on what you got to work with. And the thing is, if your offensive line got a star player traded from it for Jimmy Graham, more than likely, and when another piece league, more than likely your offensive line go play suspect, aka 2015. And then so on. More injuries can happen before you had no names. And they still had better rushing attack than we did.
You know what I find funny though, Numbers, and you brought up this point. This is a very good point. Now, Insanely Fresh says, I do believe that we got so much better at the losing KFC, but we are hyping up Bevel a butt much. It's not like we got Pete Carroll himself or something. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you why there's an excitement for having Daryl Bevel. Okay, go and name me the Seattle Seahawks top offensive lineman. The Seattle Seahawks for the last 6 years have had the least amount of money spent on their offensive line, yet they have been ranked in rushing and offense and in many other major categories. How did that happen? They had a coordinator who said exactly what Nomis just said, which is utilize what you have to work with. And if you tell me that the weakest link on our offensive line is Kenny Wiggins, with this coordinator, we doing good. Okay. Now, Insanely Fresh says Dwayne Brown. They just traded for Dwayne Brown. Okay. You talking about Justin Britt. Justin Britt is not nothing to write home about. You talking to a Seahawks fan. Jermaine he was almost kicked off the team. I mean, let's be honest.
They just getting rid of J.R. Sweezy over last year or two.
The biggest mistake Seattle has ever made, and Insanely Fresh, you couldn't have had a better person to talk Seahawks football with than me, because I like the Seahawks as well. The biggest mistake that they made was trading Max Unger to the Saints for Jimmy Graham. That was the biggest mistake that they made. Their offensive line after that trade was even worse. If you would have said Max, I'd have said cool. But if you go through and look at last year, they used 4 running backs to beat the number 1 team in rushing. They just kept the ball on the ground.
And you wonder why that defense suffered for so many years holding the team. Not to mention, you traded away your top lineman.
DJ Floker.
No, so you traded your top lineman away when it's about to be a couple years and making not too many good old lineman draft picks, plus y'all a playoff team. So the chances for y'all to find a good old lineman was really tough because you drafted somebody in the first round when you traded in 2016 with Carolina, and they took that DT and y'all got somebody, and I never heard his name again.
Nope. In fact, the Seattle Seahawks has always had a struggling offensive line. That's why it became a huge story. And here's another fun fact for you. Russell Wilson in his time has had one receiver that was 6'3" or taller, and he didn't even stay on the team long, and that was Brandon Marshall. They just always gave him short receivers with a half line, and that's why he's always constantly running around. But we the fans get caught up in, look how great he is as he's running around the back. He's running for his life.
Right. It's not nobody's fault that they're not mobile. You're supposed to set up plays for the guy you have, not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, if you're going to tell me that the offensive linemen that we call trash lead this team and become 2-time Pro Bowlers, and it's because of they was just trash here. No, they were just poorly coached.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Larry Warford.
He's about to be a Hall of Famer with the Saints right now. He a 2-time Pro Bowler since leaving us, man. Larry Warford, not Larry Warford, but Riley Reef been somewhat. He made a Pro Bowl, but he's been somewhat suspect over the last year due to.
Riley Reef has been horrible. He's been horrible. Now Buff does says Russell played better running out the pocket. Why protect him? Because I think that most people want to protect their quarterback. If your quarterback is doing a lot of off-scripted stuff, I mean, that's not good. Right. George Morgan says, "Hey, how would y'all feel if we traded Slay for Trent Williams?" I'd be upset. I'd be grossly upset. You can't trade a guy like Slay, who for the most part has been healthy, for a guy who's been hurt now consistent for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Right. He's had some injuries that's kept him off the field. I just don't see that as a good trade. And if you're getting him, then you got money wrapped up in another tackle who really shouldn't be on this team, and you still have a problem at guard. So, yeah, I'm not feeling the Trent with Slay.
And off the record about the O-line again, I guarantee you, let us give away Joe Dahl to Seattle. I guarantee you, if he starts, he would be just fine. Just fine, because Pete Carroll know how to develop people and fit them in the right way.
Who knows? Joe Dahl might come out this season and be decent.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, maybe I'm a little bit on the opposite end, but I think Joe Dahl is about as mediocre, average, below average as I've ever seen. What he's starting to get a little bit of praise for is his ability to pull and move based on how this scheme is working. So I understand that. But Joe Dahl himself is about as average as they come. And I don't think he'll make the team. You know, he's just
needs
average.
to step up too, man. Because if he doesn't, you're right, he's gonna be off the team, and that's sad, man. Because I feel like our depth at offensive line, especially guard, is not that high. So if he can't make this squad, man, that's not good for the future.
Right. What you think about Graham Glasgow right now?
I think it's the same thing with with the other guys, man. I think he's been poorly coached because they really raved about him at center. I mean, this guy apparently was. When you look at Lincoln Tomlinson, he was apparently so bad that they took him and made him the backup in favor of Glasgow. He was really solid, but the problem was the reason
wait. Who was solid? You took Lincoln Tomlinson?
I'm talking about that year. Calm down.
Right, but you said Lincoln Tomlinson was solid?
No.
Lincoln Tomlinson's trash.
No, not Uncle
Man.
Luke.
Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead. Continue. I'm like, wait a minute. What? What? Where was I at when this happened?
Lincoln Tomlinson, the most trash offensive lineman.
Hey, listen. The way he said it, I said, no, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. What you just said? Like, wait a minute. Like, I know you ain't finna push that one out there. No, we not gonna let that one slide through. I gotta reject that.
Hey, because he pulled a me back in that game. He got replaced in the Eagles game, man. He fell over. But anyway, what it was, though, Glasgow actually left the left guard. He was actually playing solid, and that's why everybody was high on him. When he moved to center, you gotta understand, man, they've been terrible in developing the center probably more than any other position on the O-line. I feel like. And that's why I can't really criticize the centers too hard, because even with I know Swanson, everybody say he was trash, but how you go in 2016 have a very decent, very good year to me, and then right before you got injured, and then turn around 2017 play as bad as you did? That just I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think Travis Swanson was pretty decent at the center position, but the problem with Travis Swanson is the same problem that I have with Graham Glasgow. If you're playing the center position, you have to kind of be like the first line of defense to tell the quarterback to translate to the people he sees this, and this. And then the one thing that I'm very critical of when I watch a center is when you snap that ball, did you move anybody? Right. Travis Swanson, Graham Glasgow were no better than Dominic Raiola. They didn't move nobody.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, he ain't moved nobody in one game.
Travis Swanson in that game against the Rams in 2015 where he got destroyed. Then when they came here for a field in 2016, he performed against Aaron Donald a way lot better. The reason why I keep bringing up Aaron Donald is due to the fact that was the guy that really gave us a hard time. Like that, you could say where you really realize how terrible they might have been. It was against Aaron Donald. He held a lot better against Aaron Donald the second year when he faced him. Now, Graham Glasgow, of course, Radnow got destroyed last year, but he's a rookie. I'm giving him a year to learn. Of course, he ran through us, but I feel like you give them a better chance to coach them up. I think they can hold up.
When it comes to Graham Glasgow, we got to see this here. When you're a center, it's probably the most technical position on the offensive line. Yeah. You got to read defenses, and you got to be able to decipher that information to the quarterback and help him out. So now he's going to be in a position where he does not have to do that. All he has to do is play to his offensive line scheme. He doesn't have to read defenses. He doesn't need to know all that. Right. He can just focus on his position of protecting the quarterback or pushing the run lane. So I believe his quality will go up for that fact alone.
And if you just go through and look at the rest of the top centers that was in the league, the Pounceys, when it was Mango, when it's Alex Mack, those guys, even the Jeff Saturdays, they was able to talk to their quarterbacks and get people moved. Now, one Prior 40 says, I got into a debate. It was someone who said we should have drafted Bush instead of Hawk, and I laughed. And Rashawn Gary. And I just laugh at people when they say that, because when I ask this question, nobody can answer it. Who is Bush supposed to replace? Like I'm not trying to be funny, but who is Bush supposed to replace? If you take Devin Bush, okay, just follow me on this. Who is he replacing? Kristen Jones? You're gonna put him in middle? Because I can assure you he's not getting off those blocks. He's not. And if you take Rashawn Gary, I'm just sorry, but I keep trying to explain to people there's no substitution for technique. If you don't have good technique, you're not going to win no battles. And I don't see him as a guy who was a technician with his skill set. He had one move, and that was try to bull rush you. And a lot of the times, that wasn't even doing nothing. It's a hands game.
Two things. First, I meant to tell you I laughed and screamed, dying laughing when Green Bay announced they picked, because your reaction, it was out of nowhere. And then at the end of the day, though, I was just thinking about our linebacker core a little bit a while ago. I thought I heard somebody mention the linebacker core like earlier when I was about to be in here. And I was just thinking like yesterday too, like, man, our linebacker core that came a long way. We went from a Foot to a Tulloch to a Whitehead to a Davis and to a Tavai. I mean, we came a long way.
Yeah. It's grown. It's grown in a way that you have to respect it. And I think a lot of times people want to say, "Oh, Jared Davis is not good," but he is. I remember when we got Ernie Sims, and I remember hearing people always talk about Ernie Sims, and I was like, if he healthy, he's pretty okay until you get him in the passing game. And I remember when watching DeAndre Levy in a preseason game, and for like the first 2 or 3 years, I'm trying to figure out why the Detroit Lions won't put him in. I watched Cliff Averill in the preseason game, and I was like, why not put this guy in? And then when they finally put him in, they realized, oh, they can play. And then what happened? Those guys were gone as soon as the contract expired.
Right.
And so to me, the team is getting better. Mm-hmm. The focus should be on the improvement, and we should not be still talking about the negative side of it. When the season comes and things bad happen, you will hear me talk about it, because guess what? That's what's happening in the season. But when the all season comes, I'm going to talk about what needs to be fixed from the previous season, and I'm also going to talk about the good that they did throughout the season. Folks, now, if they don't do nothing good, then, hey,
folks,
you're gonna hear a different story.
Everyone didn't want Matthew Stafford. They wanted the linebacker instead. Look how that played out. Everybody wanted Reuben Foster instead of Jared Davis. Look how that turned out. Nobody wanted Frank Ragnow. Look how that turned out. Trust Bob Quinn. He knows what he's doing when he's drafting players. He can hit on those first-round picks, and he can hit on those mid-round picks. The guy is good at defining and finding talent.
Mm-hmm. And I love this. I love this statement right here by Bug Spray, where he says Ragnow had a season to learn defenses. And the thing is this: the reason they did that is because they didn't want to expose Ragnow too soon and have him get caught off guard. By letting him play the guard position, they allow for him to learn the defenses in different sets and see different things and see different speeds. And now that he did that, hey, snap the ball and call this stuff out to everybody else. Because whether you know it or not, the quarterback and the center go hand in hand. It's just like a tank gunner and a driver. There's somebody who has to give coordinates and another one who got to crank that tank gun the right way to get that shot on target. And too often, people don't want to believe that. Like, snipers have spotters for a reason. It improves the accuracy. So it's one of those things where I look at it and I say, let's be honest about it. They're getting better. And I know a lot of people wanted Geis over Kerryon, and that turned out different. I wanted Sonny Michel over Kerryon. But we took Frank Ragnow. So, hey, what can I say? I really believe that Sonny Michel, I watched him in both those big games against Mississippi State and against Clemson. I watched him against Alabama. And the only person that stood out to me was Sonny Michel, even over Nick Chubb. So I was a huge Sonny Michel fan. I still am.
For the record, Kerryon would have low key could have possibly beaten sack line and yardage, at the very least.
Yeah, he could have, but the problem was, when you split more than half his carries with a slow running back who think that all of a sudden now he's got agility, you're gonna have those problems.
And my theory
I don't know why LeGarrette Blount waited to get here to start juking. It's amazing to me.
Insanely fresh says, how can Jared Davis be a beast if he can't cover? Did you see what happened after we got Snacks Harrison? Did we see how well that linebacker performed? Jared Davis took it to the next level.
The truth is this. You have to understand that the coverages that they were playing, when they're playing man coverage and you're asking him to run step for step, with tight ends who are probably faster than him, I mean, you're gonna get exposed. Could you imagine if even Luke Kuechly
Wide receiver.
ask Luke Kuechly to run step for step with Elvin Kamara? You know, ask him to run step for step with somebody who's just faster than him. It's you have to have perfect technique, and technique can be taught.
Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean, he's not running a step to step with no Travis Kelsey not playing that, but
Right, that's what I'm saying.
you know him and Kettle not playing that, but that's what they was asking him to do while fighting through traffic. On top of that, and then when they got Snack started taking up lanes, he was able to run with them. But see, what happens is everybody keep going back to that play where he got beat on that catch by Ezekiel Elliott. And he was still in position to make the tackle. He just wasn't in position to make the interception.
Right.
And I believe that was his first season.
No, that was what you talking
about the Ezekiel Elliott thing?
Yeah, when Ezekiel Elliott caught that ball on him, that was his first season?
No, that was his second season. That was last.
His second season. Okay. So it's one of the things when you look at it. Now, insanely fresh says, I think Sonny Michel seems good because of his system. Now, go back to them Georgia games. Go back to Georgia. Go back to them Georgia games. I promise you, if you watch Sonny Michel closely, he has a great deal of versatility to him that's very similar to LaDainian Tomlinson. Go back to look at them Georgia games when they went against Alabama. He was the only thing that was moving the ball, and they kept feeding Nick Chubb. And that's just the facts.
And the thing is about Davis on that coverage play on Ezekiel Elliott, the reason why I never really sweated him so hard, who honestly was going to be right there behind him to make a better play? Not even Darius Slay. Who really was you go put it up to him that was going to really stop that pass?
I mean, right. There were so many things that went wrong on that play that didn't make no sense. From the safety not being there to a number of things that went wrong, you know. And a lot of times I get a lot of people who come to my videos and critique me and say stuff like, oh, you don't know this and you don't know that. And I tell you every time, like, bro, technique don't pass for nothing. If somebody run past you, give them the forearm. Give them something. Touch them. If you're going to be up on the receiver and you're going to be up in a position of press, put a hand on him so you can control where he go.
Right,
you know, this is the thing people don't understand. Go and look at Quentin Jammer when Quentin Jammer used to play. He would consistently come up and put a hand on you to keep you to see where you was at, then turn around and locate the ball. Just the same thing with Asante Samuel. So
Insanely fresh just saying he wants to see consistency and a team succeed. And I get it, man. You just trust us that there's a lot more than what is just seen on the videotape. You have to look at every scenario, especially when it comes to any linebacker. If you do not have a defensive line, linebackers are going to get exposed. You've seen how well he played after Snacks Harrison was in there. And that just shows the testament of how every piece must work properly for a defense to work. If you take one piece out, you take that one man out of position, it can really affect the whole thing. It just takes everything to work properly. And when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott, he's Ezekiel Elliott. He makes a lot of people look like fools. The dude's a beast of a running back.
And the thing is too, if you guys need further proof that a deep line makes a linebacker better, go back to 2014 when Dominic Nick Fairley and Ziggy and Jason Jones were there. They literally made you think that Tahir Whitehead could actually play Mike when he couldn't. He got 3 interceptions, I think, in one game against Minnesota, and I went crazy and defended him for 2-3 years and regretted it ever since.
Hey, just some things is facts. Now listen, Melvin Drew says, hey, hold on. Shout out to first black man on the net being my first subscriber. Big ups to you, my brother. Thanks, man. So just wanted to put that out there. It says a linebacker is where you create the mismatch, whether it's tight ends or running backs or slot receivers. I mean, that's essentially what you do. If you go through and you look at New England, what did they do? They created the mismatch in the middle of the field using slot receivers and tight ends and the running back. And so playing the position is getting challenging because in the past, you used to be able, somebody came across the middle, if they didn't have the ball, you can jack them up right there. Boom, blow them up, throw it to who you want to now. He on the ground. You know, but then they changed the rules to if you even breathe on a player, foul, flag in the air, boom, it's all bad. But so now, yeah, the linebacker is becoming the target person, and that's why you start to see more teams move safeties up in the box, so they can control some of those mismatches. So yes, that is a accurate statement. Now we had 39 people in the chat. We only got 21 likes. Let's see if we can get that a little bit closer to 90% people. If you have not hit that thumbs up button, please do so right now.
Folks, we need Nomis to get to 300. If you've not subscribed to Nomis, please subscribe to him. He really needs to get to 300 so he can do some good pickup lines with some females. Having 300 subs, man, that gives you more chances to get some females.
Hello, I'm Nomis. I'm with the DSA and LukeG. So we want to go out. We're going to LukeG's house later on to eat some buffalo wings. You want to come?
Hey man, listen, man. Y'all don't want to come to my house. My kid run you up out of here. He got 1,001 questions.
I ain't say it was gonna be true.
Oh, okay. Just saying. Shoot.
I'm just doing you like Charlie Murphy and Rick James. That's all.
Now listen, Melvin Drew says that's why I'm big on Bevel. He's going to beat you in the middle of the field, running, passing, to tight ends. Low key, he made Rudolph and many. Now he got hot. Yeah, people don't realize that Kyle Rudolph. Listen, the Vikings are in trouble. The Vikings are in trouble. The Vikings still have a good chance to be good this year. I'm not doubting them out. But they had to pay Kyle Rudolph. They still gave that huge contract to Kirk Cousins. They're gonna have to pay Devin Cook. They just paid Thielen. They just paid Diggs. They money is they did Anthony Barr. They money is looking real suspect.
Oh man, they're gonna be in their cap situation is awful. They have no way the ability to pay everybody. They are going to have to let talent go. I don't know how they're going to do it. That contract really hurt them with Kirk Cousins. Again, I don't think Kirk Cousins is a bad quarterback, but you can't pay everybody. And right now, I think they're the worst team in the NFL when it comes to cap situation, or 31st. Literally in just a couple thousands within cap limit. So they are going to have issues. They have to get rid of players, or they're simply going to do something magical with the cap, in which is going to hurt ramifications down the road for their team.
Now, Melvin Drew says he was hoping that Anthony Barr left. Now, I don't. I don't. Listen, I keep trying to tell y'all, sometimes the best thing that can happen to a team is putting them in a position that cripples the team. You paid all that money to all them people. Now we're going to see what happened when you got to go and pay linemen, you got to go and pay other people. Your cap is going to be tested. And I'm okay with that. That's why I was like, hey, if anybody want to sign a person for this kind of money, let them. You know?
Wait a minute. By the way, don't they got to give an extension? I might be wrong. Don't they got to give one to Danielle Hunter and them too?
Man, listen, don't even get me started. They gonna have to figure out life. Let's put it that way. They're going to have to figure out life.
They got to get their wide receiver Diggs as well.
No, they might trade. They might pull a Bears on us and trade this.
What do you think about this, man, Beast? What do you think about the Viking situation with their cap?
My bad, man. I walked away for a second. My bad. Now ask me again. What was going on?
What do you think about the cap situation when it comes to Minnesota Vikings? They're strapped right now. How are they going to be able to hold all that talent on the team?
They're not going to be able to. They're going to crumble.
I mean, to me, the best thing you can wish for any team in your division, just in your division, is for them to be destroyed by their own cap. It's almost like being ate from the inside out. You know, if the Lions could have been in the perfect position to be in certain divisions, we talk about them totally different. But the Lions have always been in divisions that have been competitive. Ain't nobody competitive in the AFC North. You know, the Patriots do what they want. The Jets ain't no question mark. The Bills ain't no challenge, and the Dolphins ain't no test neither. It's a cakewalk. The division right there is easy 6 wins. Easy. But you go to these other divisions, it's a dogfight for everybody else. It just is.
And that's kind of what tore Green Bay down, though, man, because Rogers wanted all his guys there. Gotta keep on. All the guys they just not letting go should have been gone like 2-3 years ago.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, they just not getting rid of that linebacker. What's his name? Not him. The other guy.
Nick Perry. Nick Perry.
Him too, but it was another one. I remember that they had.
Oh, you talking about Barnett? Nick Barnett.
I think so. It was a couple of them, man. They had a
really old team. Let's put it that way. They had people that should have been gone, and they was holding on to them for dear life.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's probably about to tear down Vikings a little bit in a slightly different way. But you know what, though? Shout out to 313 Hitman. He predicted that, though, for me. So he said it's going to be a time y'all got to pay all these guys, and y'all ain't going to be able to do it. Boy, it was
right. You ain't going to be able to do it. Listen, it's just the nature of the sport. If the football world was ran similar to the NBA, I can assure you that we would have to worry about the Lions winning anything because the teams with the most money would win it. That's why we have a salary cap. The salary cap is to keep everything even. You can't pay everybody, and that keeps competition even. You say what now?
They can't in the NFL. We can't have a situation where it's like the New York Yankees, where you just pay these big contracts to every player and win titles through money. Now, you have to be able to manage players and manage it correctly. That's why it's so vital to have an individual to treat a NFL team like we got now like a business. If you do not treat it like a business, you're destined to fail, because how do you succeed in a business? You manage your finances. How do you manage your finances? You got to go through every explicit detail. You have to make every situation, it's got to be correct. If you start throwing money around like we did with when we had Sue Stafford and Calvin Johnson, you cannot put depth around the team, and you're destined to fail. All it takes is one injury. And this is what Quinn has done. He has completely changed his team when it comes to depth, and that is how you win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that Buff does says Lions should sign Nick Perry. He from Michigan, and we need another DN. I terribly disagree with it per se. I can see you signing him to be a rush outside linebacker. The problem I have with it is he's older, and he has shown that he works better with people around him to take pressure away from him than anything else. But the truth is, you have a guy who's doing that already in Kennard, and you're going to have the other guy be Romeo Okwara. So Romeo Okwara, his job is to do the same thing that Trey Flowers is to force everything back to the middle, and then Snacks and Ashawn Robinson's job is to push the middle to create a smaller pocket. In case y'all didn't know, on Madden 20, that's going to be a thing now, people, where if your line is pushing that pocket closer, your quarterback going to become more inaccurate. So, these are the things that they're trying to reflect, because that's what happens in real life. You have to be able to create a smaller pocket. Some quarterbacks like Andrew Luck be sitting back there on an island because his protection is that good.
What up, though, Roland G? He says, I heard at work today Ryan Tannehill left Miami, would be a backup for Stafford. What do you think? He's actually the backup now for the Tennessee Titans behind Marcus Mariota.
Right.
He got traded to that team.
Yeah, he got traded to the Titans. So I'm trying to figure out, like, if you're saying that he left the Titans?
No, he left Miami, but he got traded to the Titans. Right. He would be a dope backup to have if he was a free agent, but he's not. He got traded because Mariota gets injured a lot. He's actually pretty similar to Marcus Mariota with his athletic ability. So they need to have a logical backup because Mariota gets injured consistently.
Now, Troxel Sports Talk says, Luke, what is the one thing that can't happen if we have a real chance to compete? You can't have bad coaching. You can't have bad play calling. The coach needs to make sure that the play calling is adequate to meet the game plan, but be willing to adjust when the game plan ain't working. If you got bad coaching, you got bad problems. So that's the one thing that we can't have happen. We need to have better coaching. And without better coaching, you got some serious issues just off the rip.
Second thing will probably be health too.
Well, health is always a major thing, but I feel like coaching can overcome health.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases.
Yeah, we've seen it. We seen a practice squad O-line.
All right. So he says Christian Jones, Jalen Reeves, Maben, Nick Perry. Who you taking? I'm taking Christian Jones because I believe he has more versatility of the three. I was never a fan of Jalen Reeves, Maben. I thought he was a terrible pickup. And Nick Perry does not have that level of versatility that the Lions are looking for. So I would take Christian Jones, unfortunately, and that's not saying much. Is that if we want to compete, we need a corner number 2 and better linebackers. Our linebackers is going to get tested this year, and the number 2 cornerback is going to probably be Rashawn Melvin more than likely. So to me, I can see it. Roland G says guys at work also said Stafford can't handle being pressured and is ineffective. Okay, well let me just put it this way because I don't want to make it to a whole Stafford segment.
Let's do it.
Aaron Rodgers got sacked 53 times and started just throwing the ball away because he didn't like the play calling and some of the things that was going on. So he set the NFL record for throwing the ball away. But in the meantime, he took a beating, and that team went 6-9-1 and got swept by the Lions. There are a lot of quarterbacks when you're getting hit that don't look good. Jared Goff in the Super Bowl was getting pressured, and it looked like a rookie. No run game, and he looked totally different. Dak Prescott lost Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games and got pressured. And guess what happened? It looked a real suspect. I mean, he got sacked 8 times in the game because he didn't know what to do. Pressure breaks anybody, okay? You talk about Tom Brady getting pressured and stuff like that. Go and look at the Lions game. They touched him often, So those type of things would break any quarterback. So I'm just not buying the idea that it's just Stafford.
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. Again, any quarterback that deals with pressure and getting hit, that's what they don't want. If you looked at Peyton Manning, he would intentionally take a knee if he felt like an individual was going to hit him because he knew that he would rather take a loss of down than get hit because that's what a smart quarterback does. Any quarterback that has defenders on him are going to make errors and make bad plays. That is just the nature of the game. That's why
it's just how it works. That's why pass rushers get paid so much.
Yep.
That's why you pay them.
What up, Marcus Willis?
Yep, what up, though? So what up? It says Malik Kearney would be a really good edge rusher. Watch out, sleeper alert. I don't think he's a sleeper. We've talked about Malik Kearney. I think he has a good chance of making the team. We know Trey Boston has a really good chance of making the team. The Lions are finally doing what other teams are in the NFL who are good are doing. Get your players from the SEC. It just is what it is, and they're doing a good job of it. So, in my opinion, I don't think he's no sleeper at all. The only thing he can do is not perform and get his, or eat his way out of the league. But he's going to get an opportunity to be a part of this team. So it says, is Johnson rookie going to play special teams, or do you think he will be used as running back? Both. Ty Johnson will be running back and on special teams. He's going to be a utility guy. Yep. You're going to see a lot of reverses used with him because he got the speed. You're going to see a lot of kick and punt return. Pay attention to preseason where he's getting his snaps at.
Also think of Jamal Agnew and how we kind of utilized him on offense. Yep. I think we'll do the same thing with Mr. Ty Johnson. And that is one of my X factor players for offense because he can really change the dynamic if you decide to throw him on the field. With that offense and all the other players, defenses might as well just cry because you're going to get lit.
Right. I mean, y'all got to keep in mind that the Lions is not just playing football to be playing football. They're playing football to play within the system. We have not done that in forever. They're playing within the system. And I think anything that you do is what's going to be. Now, LK Production says, when is your next 53-man roster, Luke? I did my way too early 53-man roster. I was waiting for the training camp to go through because at that point I'll kind of have a better gauge. So I'm going to go to some of those public practices and take my little notes and come back and report to you guys. So I will be at the open practices. I've already scheduled those days off from work so I can kind of go out there and come back and report to you guys because I'm pretty sure somebody in our local media is going to tell you everything is bad. They're dying out there. Nobody looks fast, and they're going to make up a bunch of stuff. So I want to make sure I can give you the real facts out here. Birthplace, say Ty Johnson in the jet sweep. Yes.
Yes. That will be fun to watch. Melvin Drew says, my homeboy said, we are so hype. All the teams are making moves. We ain't the only one deep, but our moves are strategic.
Exactly. If you look at the moves that we made in free agency, we took specific players from specific teams, from specific coaches. We took Coleman, who had relations to the Patriot way. We took Jesse James, who is a young stud tight end. Obviously, we got Flowers, and he played for the Patriots. These are individuals that has been to the playoffs. These are individuals that's won Super Bowls, and they're going to help build this team, this young team, and learn how to win now and in December.
I mean, and even buffed up makes a good point. I'm just hoping that Ty Johnson can, run the ball. I think he will be. And don't be surprised if you do see a Wildcat play with Ty Johnson and Agnew in the mix. Don't be surprised if you see that. You're going to see a lot of things that the Lions were never used to doing. So John Jones says, what up, though? You have the Godfather on the panel, Man Beast Morris. What up? I don't know if Man Beast still with us. I ain't heard him in a minute. All right, I ain't hear him. Okay. It says y'all need to put production together for opening day. Do a live cast, man. Opening day, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. The one thing about Luke is if Luke is doing the live show, he can put his attention on the live show. But when he's watching the football game, he's dialed in like he's coaching to beat the next team. So you're not even going to have me standing on TV. I'm not even going to be doing live streams when the game is going on. I'll come on after the game, take phone calls. We'll talk about what we've seen, what we like, didn't like, questions and concerns. But I cannot watch that football game. I don't even like going to the football games with friends who talk to me while plays are happening because I'm dialed into what's going on. So you ain't gonna never see Luke on nobody's stream or no type of cast while that game is happening. I am taking notes and paying attention. So that's not gonna happen.
Morris, you got a shout out. It said, what up, Doe? You have the Godfather on the panel. That's Luke, from John Jones.
Luke, just like myself, I don't really live stream while I'm watching the game.
Yeah, I can't do it, bro. I gotta pay attention. I need to see everything. And if I don't, I'm gonna miss something. So Gabriel Shoemaker says Carry-On is the Wildcat back. He has experience doing it. Detroit's own Big Will. Shout out to Detroit's own Big Will. Just FYI, Detroit's own Big Will is starting a YouTube channel. So if you click on his name right there, you can subscribe to his channel. He's going to do all his stuff live. He is not going to do any videos. He's going to do live football talk every single time. But he is starting a channel, and I rock with Detroit's own Big Will. But he says Johnson did a lot of the Wildcat. Yeah, I know, but in the need for speed and to not overutilize the running back, they're going to find other people to put in that position.
Just subscribe to you, Big Will.
One Pride 40 says, you think we can get revenge on the Cowboys? I don't necessarily think it's a matter of revenge. I think that the Cowboys barely beats us every single time. And I just think we're going to beat them this time. I think that the difference is you're not going to have LeGarrette Blount in the game trying to figure out if he should cut left or right. You're going to have running backs in the game who's going to do work. And C.J. Anderson, last time he saw them, he made them look real foolish. So...
Woo! Yeah, man, not having that guy doing dances is really going to help.
Right. You got to run.
I don't know. Go ahead, man.
You got a running back in LeGarrette Blount who runs like a 4.8, trying to be Barry Sanders in the backfield. It was really driving me nuts last year.
He got a case of the Theo Riddicks. It's like the dude was a north and south running back. comes to Detroit. That's what we expect. And now he's dancing in the backfield. It's like, dude,
I speculated. This is the thing I speculated.
we're not paying you to do some blue suede shoe Elvis stuff. We're paying you to find a hole and plow folks down and gain a couple yards, man.
Here's the thing.
Come on.
Is it possible that did KFC
Did you just say his name, man? I almost hung up on you. What you just do?
Dude, I almost blocked you off that, man. You did not curse.
What? Don't you ever make that mistake. We don't give that name no airtime. What is wrong with you?
Thou shalt not use thy name on thy stream.
I shall not use thy name on thy stream.
Right.
No, man. What if that was KFC's part in it though? What if he had him do those design runs like that to make them juke people out the way?
That was all him, bro. No, that was all him. Bro. That was he started feeling the pressure of that young buck behind him named Carrion, and he was like, hey, I gotta do something to kind of make my value go up. And he tried to mimic it, and it just wasn't looking good. You know, it would be like looking at Refrigerator Perry try to put a spin move on somebody. It's not happening. You know. So John Jones says, Luke, the general, speak on Stafford's projected passing yardage this year. The reason I do not talk about stuff like that is because that stuff is not that big of a deal to me as long as it's within the realms of the game. But Stafford, I put it this way, Stafford history shows that he's consistently between 38 to 4,200 yards of passing. So you can bet your bottom dollar he'll still remain there because with a running game, it's going to force a lot of defenses to come up. 2 Liter says, with the roster on paper, where do y'all think the Lions will be ranked through the first 8 games? On paper, defensively, I'm going to say about 14. Offensively, I'm going to say about 19. And it's a new system being in place. So I don't expect to see this huge turnaround. That's why I said it's going to be kind of like Novocaine. It's going to work real slow, but be effective.
Yeah, you gotta.
What say you, Mike?
Man, I'm with you there. I think the offense eventually will be a top 10 offense, but the first 8 games, it's a new system. After that, you're going to really see the offense gel a lot more once the players are more acclimated to the scheme, once they understand what each player his assignment is. When that starts happening, when they're reactive to the play call instead of thinking about it, the offense will take that next level. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, just like any other team when you get a new scheme. It's a little slower, but it will get better. Each game, you'll see the offense, in my opinion, will start to improve more and more and more, and the playbook will be open.
Agree. Well, I mean, what say you, man, Beast? You see them, the first 8 games, offense and defensive rankings.
Well, I think our offense probably be top 15, something like that to begin with. Top 16, somewhere around there. And our defense, I can see our defense being around 12, 11.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Start off.
Okay. Well, here I'll put this out here too because I see Gabriel Shoemaker says, any of you guys put money on the Lions this year? It is surely the year to do it. They have 125 to 1 odds to make the Super Bowl, a 4-1 odds to make the playoffs, and the over/under for the Lions wins at 6.5. I don't have a way to make a bet, but if I was betting, I would bet the over on that 6.5.
Yep.
And I would definitely take those 4-1 odds of them making the playoffs. The Super Bowl, I ain't putting no money on that because I mean, you know, you get a good payout back from it. I just can't put that money on that.
Bet on them, folks. Vegas has them getting 7 or under. They're going to do better than 7. Bet on them, folks.
Hey.
All right, so I think like the offense, like man, we said it'll be probably ranked around 16th or 17th. If I can break that down, I think the run game will actually start off a little bit slower. It's like it'll be better than last year, but it still won't be like great yet until like once they get everything developed down, then maybe after the other 8 games, they'll be like a top 5, top 10 run team. And the passing attack will probably stay or start off like where it usually somewhat is, maybe a little bit better. So that's why I say about 17th, 16th. But the defense, I'm going to say that's about another 12 or 11 because it's not about them learning the scheme. It's just about them gelling together more than mine.
Well, here's the thing, and it's funny you say that because Trossel Sports Talk come out. He says, "Wait, what? Defense 19, Luke? Hope you're putting Saleh and Snacks holding out in that because we already top 10." Well, here's my thing. If the offense start off slow and has some slow moments, that puts more pressure on the defense to step up. And when defenses are put in that situation, they often are what's the word I want to use? What's the word I want to use? They are often put in a position where they got to be slow to start off. And I personally would like to see them take off in the later part of the year versus the first 8 games. Because in the first 8 games, there's no guarantee that they're going to take off in those first 8. So for me, it's one of them things where it's like I don't need to include no holdouts in there. I know that offenses with slow starts can put defenses in bad positions. So you got to be given opportunities to make plays, and I think the defense will make them. But if you go and look at the New York Giants and some of these other teams, even the Green Bay Packers, their defense took off in the later part of the year. So if the Lions beat the Cowpokes, you gonna clown Voch, Luke. All I'm gonna say to you, One Pride 40, is stay tuned. just stay tuned. Win, lose, or draw, just stay tuned. That's all I can say.
We played the Cowboys and we beat them.
We play on week 11. Was here's the thing, Voch Lombardi, I went on his show and he basically act like he didn't know who I was, which was cool. And he basically talked about the Cowboys and claimed like, "Oh, we beat the brakes off of y'all." And I'm like, "Y'all won by 2 points." And we all know what happened in the playoff game. Apparently, when it happens to the Lions, no rule change. But when it happens to the Saints, the rule need to be changed. So I mean, I get it. Just like Calvin Johnson and against the Bears, it's a no catch. But happened to the Steelers, we need to make that a rule and change it. So let's just be honest about this. The Lions and the Cowboys battle has been very interesting, but the truth is, over the last few years, the Cowboys have come unscathed in those games because they have always somehow managed to get that 1 or 2 plays that was needed to win. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, so it is what it is.
I agree. What up, though, Lone Wolf? I'm with you, man. And it's always been an interesting game against the Cowpokes. Us Detroit Lions, it's always coming down to the final play. I think the difference between last year and this year is the fact that we have a much better offense. KFC is no longer running this thing. We have a defense that will be rested instead of always on the field because the offense was terrible. And it's going to be payback for the times that we lost and as well as that playoff loss. So right. I do believe we are going to win this game. It's at Ford Field. The fans are going to go. It's going to be ruckus, and it is time to get our revenge.
Now, I love this question right here. This one right here for Lone Wolf. He says, what Lions player or players do you think will disappoint? Ooh.
That's a great question.
Now, this is going to be one that many people may not understand, but I think it's going to be Danny Amendola. I think he's one player I think is not going to live up to the bill because I think he's going to get hurt. And we're going to be trying to figure out life in terms of Danny Amendola.
That's who I got the same thing. Like, because I'm not a believer in him. I just do not believe in him. I don't.
It's rough. I think Danny Amendola will probably be one of the ones who will disappoint. And I think if I were to pick one on defense, if I had to pick one on defense, I think it's going to be Ashawn Robinson. I just feel like he took a good, huge step forward, and I just wonder how much of that's going to play into his cockiness that he arrived. So
I got to disagree with you guys. I don't really have that much high hopes on Amendola for me to really be disappointed.
Good point. Okay.
It is what it is, man. I really don't think he's going to be like some integral part. I think he's just another piece. So I'm not going to be too worried about that one. If he does less than what people think, it's not really a disappointment because my hopes ain't too high for him. I think I think if we're gonna go an offensive weapon, I think the disappointing player, man, it's probably gonna be Taylor Decker in my opinion. I think he could have a disappointing year and not live up to the expectations we initially drafted him for. He slumped last year, and I think if that continues, and I think it can, that will be a major disappointment because it affects the whole offense as a whole, the running game as well as Matthew Stafford, and I'm really worried about that offensive line. Same with the guard positions. In if we don't have a good guard, it's not going to help Taylor Decker out. So I'm a little worried about that. When it comes to the defense, I think the position I would be most worried about, or the player, man, you know what? A'Shawn Robinson actually sounds pretty good with you because if you think we got Deshaun Hand, who's going to be really well, Snacks Harrison, who's well, we got a lot of other players on the team, so it's hard for me to assume that those players are going to regress. I don't think Davis is going to regress. Tavai is a rookie, so our expectations are too high of him. Our secondary, man, I don't see a whole lot of regression there. So what do you think, Nomis?
As far as the offense, I'll choose somebody else different than Danny Amendola, but I think the person who may not do well, it could come down, like you said, between Decker or Glasgow. I think this could be the break. The tell all year for Glasgow. If this isn't the year to improve, then maybe it's time to make a change. Definitely. As far as the defense, everybody seems to be on A'Shawn. I'm gonna go a different route. I have my eyes set on that secondary. I'm really scared to say his name, but I honestly think that this person in the secondary that's going to be kind of an issue could end up being Slay. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Okay, now talk to us, because now I'm curious. Why Slay?
The reason why I say Slay is because I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to go based off this, situation I'm holding out, but to me, I'm not sure if he's focused.
Okay.
And I feel like this stuff may get in the way, and I think he could. I've seen him with him before. He bit off too much he can chew, and it backfired on him too much. I'm worried.
Hey.
You know what's crazy about that? That's not far-fetched at all. Like, he won't be concentrated.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. I agree with you, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, that's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, and again, you won't get me to knock you on that. Now I saw a question that says, by John Jones, that says, do you think Killer Brew will contribute to the team or even make the squad? No, I feel like he's on a bubble. He's going to have to earn his way seriously on there. Another question that jumped out to me was, do you think TJ Hockenson will have 500 yards receiving? Yes, I do, Roland G. I do think he's going to have 500 yards. I think if they do this the way I see them doing with the run game, he's going to always be the target that they put the focus on. So, I can definitely see that. It says, what are our projected front seven? Do y'all think we get into the backfield quarterback about 20% faster? Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, I think adding Trey Flowers should help shut down other people's run. Getting to the quarterback faster is going to be something you're going to see Jelani Tavai do a lot of. So that's my view on that. I think the Lions will find ways to create pressure because they started out really bad in the beginning in defense and they added snacks and got better. So I can see that trend continuing on.
100% agree, man. We've been going on for almost 3 hours. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. Because I was going to tell you I got to head out anyway because my family is not pleased with me doing day 3 of live streams. So I totally get it. And man B said he had to go too. So let's go ahead and shut it down, man. I appreciate you for bringing me on.
Hey, man, it was important with the changes that are taking place, and I think we just needed to tell our subscribers that DSA is moving forward. We're getting in there. Everything's going to keep happening. We're going to still have the round
Yeah.
table, and
Yep.
don't worry about that, folks. Just because a situation happened does not mean the whole thing's going to stop. We're going to still pound out videos. We're still going to do roundtable. And
Yeah.
we're still going to send out facts because that's what we do. In relations to the next roundtable on Tuesday, I'll go ahead and send it to you, Luke. What do you think is going to take place, and what for the future for the?
Well, for that Tuesday, we'll probably do it on Noble Sports Entertainment channel, and then that Thursday we'll probably announce it that Tuesday on where it's going to be. Hopefully, Luke can get his live stream back very soon, and I know it's coming really soon. So just hold tight, people. I'm going to assure you, I will not be live streaming any NFL stuff at all because I don't need these problems. Um, but
No.
yeah, my goal is even if LukeG dies today, which that's not gonna happen. But even if LukeG died today, my goal is for the Detroit Sports Alliance to live on and to live on strong and prosper. So that way, that the teams that we love in the Detroit area get fair and unbiased media. And it's sad when one member leaves, but unfortunately, it's just one of those things that happens.
All right, Nomis, what do you want to say to the folks before we call this one a night?
I just want to say thank you and sorry for all the technical difficulties earlier. I had family issues, and everybody just watch out for that video later on tonight. Definitely watch out for that. Subscribe to these two gentlemen that's on this podcast with me alone, man. These Morris, and thank you.
Now, listen, really quick, Mike. I want to read this. Buffalo says, "Can y'all talk about the Pistons? These Lion topics getting repetitive. You want to check out the Detroit Pistons Center Court for that? We do have a roundtable for basketball, so be sure to check that out, man. And who knows? I may make an appearance on there. I just don't talk basketball because sometimes, man, basketball fans get too emotional, and I can't. I can't with them people, man. So."
Yeah, folks. We're gonna try to have a representative for each major sport in Detroit, so that goes fellows with the Tigers as well as the Red Wings. But if you like,
yeah. Matter of fact, let's put that out there. If you like the Red Wings and you're gonna do YouTube about the Red Wings, hit one of us up in the DSA. If you're gonna be doing it about the Tigers, or let's say you new and you haven't started yet, but you know that you really have a passion for talking about the Tigers or the Red Wings, hit one of us up, man. You might be surprised how much we can help you get started, and give another avenue for those fan base who want to see that.
We are actively looking for individuals that knows the Red Wings and the Tigers very well. Again, hit one of those up. Melvin Drew, DM me on Twitter, and we can do something one of these days.
Right, support.
Fellas, yes, absolutely. With that, fellas, I want to say thank you for joining the stream, everyone out there. I really appreciate you taking your Friday and talking to the DSA as well as Man Beast. With that said, folks, adios.
Adios, people.